And Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Christmas Day, and one of my Christmas gifts, if you can see that, it's a Godzilla engraved whiskey glass from a close friend of mine. And I'm currently sipping on one of my other birthday presents, a very small amount because it's Callan 12 years. So you do not waste something like that. It would just like, grr, 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 grr. And I'm also not planning to get shit faced today. But we are here with the Christmas Q&A. A lot of you guys have put in a lot of questions this year. I think because A, you guys like hearing my opinion on stuff, and B, it's Christmas, so you're like, it's a Christmas Q&A. We gotta put in a lot of stuff, and I'm just like siphoning through as many of these as possible. Like right now, what's available, and yeah, there's a lot. Now that being said, a couple of you did kind of accidentally repeat yourselves, so I will try to not focus on everything I find down there. But yeah, it's Christmas, and I already pre-recorded my videos for today, the actual videos I'm doing. I'm gonna probably go out and see Nosferatu later today. But yeah, we're just taking it easy. I'm sipping a little bit of my Macallan. And that is a sip and drink, by the way. Just it's that's Scotch is one of those things I will drink, and I do drink, but I don't drink it regularly. Like I'm more of a bourbon whiskey guy. If I'm drinking straight whiskey, I had to develop a taste for Scotch. And it's one of those things that if you drink enough whiskey or even beer or whatever, you drink enough of it, it will alter your palate to a certain degree, so you can taste more of the notes in there. And so I've had to grow accustomed to drinking this a little bit, but now I'm a fan of it. Mm. Very very nice, smooth too. But anyway, we are here. I am plugged in, so there's no way we are cutting this short. We're going to the break of dawn or until I want to try. I'm already over my amount of time talking about this already, but we're only 2 minutes in. I want to do my damnedest to keep this at maybe just an hour and a half this year. Maybe an hour, but we'll see what happens. Depends how quickly I answer the questions. So, let's just get into this. Dennis Servin says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Clockwork Highlander. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. I hope you're having a good holiday with your loved ones. We have had a good holiday. It's obviously any of you who've been watching long enough know why Christmas is a little tougher every year for me. For the last almost 8 years now, but we try to do the best we can. We all had a very good morning this evening. Morning this evening. This is already kicking in. No, morning this morning. So thank you very much. Now, 1 of 7. Your questions. What is the best Christmas gifts you've ever gotten, or at least a good one that you're really happy about? I mean, well, the Macallan stands out right there. My dad even mentioned that he was actually looking, if we didn't have to pay to get his car fixed this year, he was looking to actually get a Macallan 60 year, which, if you don't know, that's a near $500 bottle of booze. And I would have been like, hell, try it the one time, and then maybe once a year. Like maybe on Mark's birthday, we'll do like a shot of it or something like that. Otherwise, yeah, that's something. If he bought me a $500 bottle of booze, I'd sip it the one time and never again. But the Macallan, yeah. In recent years, I remember getting a new laptop. It's not this one. It was the one that came before this. But I remember the new laptop. When I got that, I was very grateful for that. Absolutely. So, yeah, that would definitely be right up there. The laptop, Macallan. It's just about it's more the thought than the actual gift. Do you have any really good Christmas memories that you look back on fondly? I mean, anything with my mom obviously is something that I look back fondly on, but like a specific oh, okay, you know what? We were actually talking about this. Back when me and my sister were kids, we would get really, really excited for Christmas. And so Santa would come. But the thing is, as kids, we have a lot more of that energy, so we don't need to sleep as much. So I would literally, or my sister would literally get up between like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, get up, see all the presents, and then I would just organize them for whose present was what. And then I would just wait for my parents to get up. So yeah. Sometimes they would get up like 4 or 5 in the morning, like, oh God, okay. So yeah, those are fond memories. What is your favorite part of Christmas? I mean, I'd be lying if I said the gift opening isn't one of my favorite parts. Not because we enjoy getting gifts, but I enjoy seeing people's reactions to the gifts that they received, especially the ones I got for them. So that would probably be it. But honestly, it's schmaltzy to say, but the togetherness of Christmas. I actually am now very much, as I get older, and more sentimental in my older years. I mean, I'm only 35. I'm not that old. But as I get older, I definitely appreciate the more sentimental parts of Christmas. Okay, number 4, non-Christmas related question. Who do you think Midoriya would befriend in Class 1B? Like, he had Uraraka and Ida in Class 1A, but who would his friends be in who would his friend group be in Class 1B? That's a good question. I mean, technically, he was friends with everyone in his class ensemble, but I know what you're saying. Like, his core friends were probably Uraraka, Ida. I'd actually argue Shoto, too, was probably among, like, core friends. Um, Definitely think he would have been friends with Shinso. Definitely. Oh no, actually, Shinso was not part of Class 1B. I always forget that he wasn't part of Class 1B. He was part of a different course. At least I think he was. But if Shinso was part of Class 1B, I would say that he would definitely be friends with Midoriya. In terms of the women in Class 1B, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe is it Kaido, the girl with the kendo fists, the giant fists. She struck me as someone he could have been friends with. Yeah, probably like them. They probably would have been a good option. Definitely wouldn't have been Monoma. It would definitely not have been Monoma. Number 5. Do you think Tai would be a good leader if he took Takato's place in Season 3, Tamers? Like Yu-Gi-Oh! What ifs you made with Jaden and Yugi switching places. And by the way, I will get back to those at some point. I just, with now my hero being thrown into the mix, just balancing out what ifs come out. And we're back to the Dragon Ball Z's right now, so eventually I will do more of those. Those just take a lot of effort to kind of make because there's so much going on in those videos. But do I think he would have been a good leader? It all depends. I mean, he is, because honestly, Digimon's a show in their world. It's already media, so they didn't realize Digimon were actually real. But that being said, would Tai be a good replacement for Takato? He'd have Agumon, obviously. I'm assuming. So would Agumon be good in that world? It's difficult to say because War Greymon, frankly, I love War Greymon. He's my favorite between Garurumon and the two Megas, Metal Garurumon and War Greymon. But he's not a Royal Knight. And Takato biomerged with Gyomon to become a Royal Knight. So, I mean, not the Royal Knight, but Gallantmon is a Royal Knight, which far exceeds most other potent Megas. So, that's difficult to say. Would I think he had been a good leader, though? He's a lot more headstrong guy. Obviously, he's got the crest of courage. He wouldn't take crap from, was it Rhea? What was her name with not Cubimon, Renamon as her partner? I doubt she'd take crap from her. So hell, if Renamon is attacking Agumon unnecessarily, he might actually get in her face and actually. Like, I'm not sure if Tai would be afraid to hit a girl, to be honest. He probably would. You'd call her off now. And just, it's like, what the hell is your problem? Like, you're attacking my friend. Get off him. Like, Tai probably would do that. Well, I think he'd be an overall good leader. I think he'd be a different leader. That's for certain. I don't know if he'd be a good leader, though, or a good switch. But still, he could probably make it work. Let's see here. 6, how long have you and your girlfriend been together? We have been together, if we count our first date, which is it's actually easy to know when we first start when we start dating, because one of our first real dates was going to see Thor Ragnarok together. That came out 2017, so I can actually track when we started dating. And so it would be it'd be 7 years this year. 7 years this year we've been together. And no regrets. Well, no, we're actually very happy. 7, and final question. Finally, who is your favorite One Punch Man character? It'd be silly not to say Saitama, but I'll be honest, I have, just from a character design standpoint, a soft spot for Genos. Or Genos, I believe is pronounced. But yeah, I'd probably, honestly, it's weird to say Saitama, just because I just like how, nonchalant he is about life, and just like, I'm just a hero for fun. It's too weak. I just like the whole plot of the series, and I just like the fact that our hero's too strong for his own series. Thanks for making this year bearable. Well, thank you very much. With your amazing content, man. Don't know how many times I have used your videos as a pick-me-up, so thank you. Well, that's very nice of you, and I'm glad, you get something out of it. P.S. My birthday is the 22nd of March. I hope it's okay if I leave my request now. Hey, look, as long as you leave it before your birthday, I am okay. You can even leave it the day before. I'll be honest, I'm not usually a fan of that because that really puts me into like, I would like at least a couple days notice to be like, okay, I also got to add this onto the schedule. But as long as it's not the day before, I'll say it again right now for anyone watching. If you put it the day of, I'm not going to do it at this point. I've made too many exceptions in the past. It puts a bind on me. I'm not prepared. So just got to do it before your birthday. That's all it is. Anyway, your birthday request is, what if Naruto broke his limiter during the training trip? Basically, a la Saitama. So, and with Naruto and all that, it means different things because you also have, chakra and jutsu and all that. So, and then Kurama as well. So that'd be very interesting. Although I wanted to keep his hair. If it's not Naruto, he's not Naruto without his hair. I don't know. I mean, maybe no hair, no jutsu exists. The balding jutsu exists, and all women fear it. Hope this is okay. It's fine. Don't worry. Thanks again. I wish you the best. Well, thank you again. All right, then. Peak Edits, 1 of 3. Thoughts on Michael Bay directing the Skibidi Toilet movie? I had to look this up to see if this was a real freaking thing. And apparently it is a real freaking thing. They're making a Skibidi Toilet movie, which I didn't even know what that was until my girlfriend showed it to me. She found it hilarious. I found it completely mind-numbingly annoying and irritating, to be quite frank. I have no thoughts on this. Everyone will just jump on bandwagons and trends, and Michael Bay has made good content in the past. He's not a bad filmmaker. That's the sad part here. He's not. But he's one of those directors who's wrapped so far up his own ass that he can't see past his own ego or his own style. And to be fair, the man made bank on the Transformers film, so he really doesn't need to. Yeah, so my thoughts, I don't care, and I probably won't be there unless it's the only thing coming out that week, or God forbid I'm requested. You wouldn't want to, you wouldn't request that, would you? You wouldn't do that to your old pal Clockwork, would you? Yes, some of you would, let's be honest, and it's fine. I haven't done requests in a while, and it's just because sometimes I just can't get out to see something. I just can't. So it does make requests. And again, I don't make money on this channel. So me going out to see something isn't predicated on like timing or whatever. I can see a movie weeks and later and still, go out and, still do a review on it just because I'm a content creator and I enjoy making content. Have you seen The Sopranos? If you have, big brief thoughts. Oh, big brief thoughts. If you have, give brief thoughts. If not, are you interested in watching it? I've only seen The Sopranos in clips. The Sopranos in clips. I'll be honest, I'm not much of a fan of those types of shows. I'm not a big fan of like crime shows, crime family shows, mob shows. I watched The Penguin. I loved The Penguin, but that's because The Penguin is also based on comics. Now, to be fair, if you didn't know it was based on a comic or like the Penguin, Batman, all that, you wouldn't have known. There really isn't much comic book nature to it. But still, the fact that it was, and I'd seen Colin Farrell prior, made me more interested in that. The Sopranos has been around for so long that it's one of those things I just don't have an interest in, unfortunately. But I mean, look, I've heard it's one of the greatest shows of all time. A lot of people didn't like the ending, which obviously I know what the ending is, because it's been around for so long. I've heard these things, but it's still one of those things where it's just not my alley, probably. And quick thoughts on SpongeBob vs. Superman, which I knew I had to add another one on who would win. Like I said, this is more my thoughts on it. Like you said, you weren't actually asking for the who would win. I will still add it, though. This is a unique case of SpongeBob is actually a broken individual, especially if you watch like that death battle with him and Super Friends Aquaman. But Superman is actually more broken than him. Like Superman is not the end-all be-all superhero ever, period, end story. He's not infallible, but he's kind of written like that. He's written to basically be able to break reality if he really needed to. But to be fair, SpongeBob casually undid his own universe and his own existence and still laughed it off. That's something not even Superman can do, but Superman is immune to reality erasure. And Superman, if he wants to, can break, universes and galaxies and multiverses and all that. So Superman, frankly, I think is just weirdly enough more absurd than SpongeBob. So I'd still go Superman. And plus SpongeBob can't really survive outside the water very long unless he stores water in his body, which Superman could just evaporate. So there you go. Either way, that's my thoughts on that. Okay. Marcus Kane, one of 13. Hey, look at you doing all the stuff, and that's real nice. Merry Christmas, you know, you know. And happy late Thanksgiving or whatever. And happy late Thanksgiving, whatever, to you too. Thank Kwanzaa, as my girlfriend and I combined all like the 4 major holidays at this time of year. You didn't do a Q&A for that. Oh, wait, you didn't. Oh, I did not do a Q&A for that. No, the Q&As are every other month. That's what that's about. Because I think I said I was going to do it once a month, but I decided to just do it every other month. I guess I'll forgive you this time. Well, I'm glad you can. And even if you don't, doesn't matter. Anyway, I got some questions I need answers. Try not to disappoint me, all right? Oh, I'll do my damnedest to disappoint you, just out of spite, sir. All right, number 1. And one second. A little something for daddy. If you could grab any Pokemon as a pet, which one you taken? Better pick a good one. As a pet, it would have to be something that actually isn't like world shattering. It'd have to be something that would actually make a good pet. So as boring as it is to say, probably one of the dog Pokemon. Now, which one? Wouldn't be Houndour. I don't think a Houndour really works well. It's not Manectric. Stoutland, the Herdier line isn't a bad option. Frou, not really my style, though I'd still love them. Honestly, it's probably Yamper or Bolttown, and that's probably my number 1. Because that's the dog I actually put on my Pokemon team when I did my own video. Rockruff. Growlithe is kind of a natural choice. Would I go with a Mastiff or my Bostiff? Maybe. I do like big dogs, but most likely be Yamper or Bolttown. Because they're just friendly, lovable dogs. Number 2, what shows got their hooks so deep in you that you couldn't break free? You know the ones I mean. The ones that make you stay up till dawn like some kind of zombie. I'll be honest, as I've gotten older, I can't do that anymore. I can't stay up till dawn. I used to be able to do that, absolutely. And I can still stay up late if I need to. It's just I need the sleep afterwards to compensate. Let's talk about back in the day then. If there was a show I was watching back in the day that could have made me do that. If the show was like, say, marathoning, or if I was marathoning a show, maybe House. Currently, I would actually say Doctor Who. Doctor Who would probably be on there. I could probably marathon it if I wasn't watching it concurrently with my girlfriend. So, yeah, maybe that. Let's see here. Number 3. Got any big wild plans for Christmas or next year? 2025 is creeping up, so don't play it boring. Sorry to say, I'm a boring guy. Plans for Christmas right now? It's do this, finish this, go out, get gas, and then go see a movie. That's my plan for Christmas this year. As for next year, is there any big plans coming up? Well, I do need to get a new car, so that's my big game plan right now. Other than that, just keep doing the channel. We got to figure out the monetization thing, because we know we can remonetize. That's kind of just something Mark's been trying to do, but I'm not 100% certain. There's some sort of issue that's preventing us from remonetizing the channel right now. So that would be on our plans. But otherwise, sorry to say, I'm a boring guy. I'm very much fine being set in my ways. All right, then. I'm just checking our time right now. We're only at 20 minutes. A lot of you gave a lot of multi-part questions, which is fine. Christmas carols. Are you a only during the season kind of person, or do you blast them all year round? Only during the season. Obviously, as I've said before, Christmas is a little harder for us each year. But beyond that, it's just one of those things that Christmas songs get played way too early as it is. And then you get tired of hearing them before Christmas even shows up. Now, luckily, I don't usually have that problem, but I usually only listen to Christmas music during Christmas, and that's it. Not to say there aren't songs. Once in a while, maybe I'll have a Christmas song stuck in my head throughout the middle of the year, just thinking about a song, and it pops up, and I go, oh, no. But otherwise, I don't really listen or watch or listen to Christmas songs outside of Christmas. Who's the real Christmas troublemaker, the Grinch or the skinny skeleton guy, Jack Skellington? See, that's a tricky question because it depends on what you mean. One was trying to steal Christmas and one was trying to be Santa. In terms of the amount of trouble they made, it would have been Jack, because the Grinch stole the gifts, but he didn't steal Christmas, and he realized you couldn't. That's the line. Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. Whereas Jack kind of almost screwed Christmas up entirely. So I would actually say Jack is the bigger troublemaker in that question. Who is the worst individual as a person up until their redemption? Oh, it's the Grinch, 100%. But in terms of who screwed up Christmas more, oh, it's Jack. Absolutely. All right. Number 6. Who's the worst neighbors you could be stuck with? The Simpsons, the Griffins, the Smiths, American Dad, the Marshes, which is South Park, the Turners. I'm guessing the Timmy Fairly Odd Parents, the Freemans. I don't remember who the Freemans are. The Archers. Okay, the Archers, Sterling Archer. The Murphys. I don't know who the Murphys are. Sorry. The Keulers. I don't know who those are. Or the Smiths, Rick and Morty. Okay, going by the ones I actually know. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to Google the other ones to see if I can find out. Okay, the Freemans. The Freemans. Show. Character. Characters. Freemans. Multiple Freeman characters, including... okay, I don't know who the Freemans are in that case. Let's try the... let's see here. The Murphys. And okay, the Murphys. Well, maybe if I try putting Murphys. Sorry about this. The Murphys TV. I got Murphy's Law. Let me try the Freemans again. The Freemans TV. Yeah, next time you have a question like this, make sure you let me know who you're talking about, because I don't know all these characters. Most of them I know, but not and what was the other one? The Colors or the Keulers? Keulers. Nope, I forgot the Y. 1 second. The Keulers. Keulers family. Let's try that. Family. Oh, is that from the Squidbillies? Okay, Squidbillies. Okay, actually, let me try putting family then. The Freeman family. Freeman's family. Let's try that. Family. Nope, can't find them. And what about the Murphys family? Murphys. Murphys family. All right. Sorry for taking so long, folks. I thought I would have vetted this before I did this. I got the Murphys family. Yeah, no, I don't. You're gonna again. You did. Oh, is that F is for family? Okay, F is for family. Okay, I do know F is for family. I just don't know. I didn't watch it. So the only one I don't know who it is the Freemans. I don't know who the Freemans are. So yeah, next time, because I knew who the Smiths were. You put American Dad there. Anyway, the worst neighbors. It's not the Simpsons. It's not the Smiths, despite the fact they get into a lot of shenanigans. The Smiths really aren't actually that bad of neighbors, to be frank. They just get into wild shit. The Archers, not really. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not even gonna. It's either the Griffins or the Marshes. They're the ones who actually affect the world around them negatively on a major scale. And Stan, I feel so bad for Stan, but Randy would get his ass kicked in a heartbeat if he tried anything. Like, I would beat his ass into a pulp until he honestly figured out that he was the problem. And he might never do that, which means I'm going to jail for murder. Yeah, no, if you're saying spill it, who's the nightmare on the block? It's the Marshes. It's like, but they give free weed. I don't smoke weed. And Randy is an asshole. So, yeah. That's the thing. Randy didn't start out like an asshole. He was an idiot a little bit, but he was an idiot like a lot of other people were idiots. And honestly, he wasn't even a bad father. Now, he's a bad father. Now, he's a goddamn idiot. Now, he's kind of a terrible human being. So now they've made him a monster, but before he really wasn't that bad. But now, yeah, it's the marshes. And I feel, and it really all just comes down to Randy. It really is. I would not want to deal with someone like Randy. And I've had to deal with people like Randy before, and they're not fun. Anyway, Seven, have you ever had one of those moments where you're like, wow, my head was really up my ass then? No offense, but come on, we've all been there. Oh, sure, I've had those. Hell, I've had them on my channel, where I've been very convinced on one thing, and then someone has pointed out that I was wrong, and I actually looked up and was like, well, that was my bad. But if you were to ask me for a specific moment, I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. I can think of embarrassing moments I've had in the past, but not a moment where my head was directly on my ass. Okay, what characters get under your skin so bad you want to deck them? Don't hold back. Well, I just said Randy. Randy is one of them. Sheldon from Big Bang Theory is one of them. Like, there's just someone who needs a punch in the face. It's weird, too. I don't like the show Big Bang Theory as a whole, but it's been coming up in clips in my YouTube feed, and in small, just 1 minute shorts. It's perfectly, I can handle a show fine. I can even handle Sheldon's idiocy fine. So yeah, that would be one. Randy would definitely be one. Let me think if I can think of two other ones. No one in Doctor Who comes to mind. Can I think of two other ones, honestly? It would have to be characters that are so arrogant and so rude or just not good people they deserve. They have to be people that actually, I think, deserve the ass kicking. The problem is that I can't think of many people. Oh, you know what? Alan from 2.5 Men. Not early season Alan. In fact, seasons 1 through 3 Alan. He was just that right balance of kind of smug, but usually got what was coming to him. Come like season 6 to 8 and beyond, like the few bits I've seen of Alan in the final 4 seasons without Charlie Sheen, Alan needed his ass kicked on multiple occasions. Multiple occasions he needed his ass kicked. So yeah, Alan would have been another one. To be fair though, I mean, I'm not getting win, but Judith got on my nerves too in that show, especially later season where she just became vindictive for no other reason than she could. So yeah, those would be characters that get under my skin a little bit, to the point where I just want to deck them. 9. What characters do you hate to love? Like you want to despise them, but you can't. I hate to love? I want to hate them, but I can't hate them. Like one of those characters you don't like the fact you like them. Don't like the fact I like them. That's a really good one. Because it's one thing, because there's characters we love hating. There's villains and characters. We hate them, but we like the fact we're supposed to hate them, and we like how evil they get. But characters you like and you don't like the fact that you like them, that's a tricky one. I couldn't give you one right off the top of my head, sadly. All right, this one's a little heavy. Skip if you're too chicken. But looking back, everything, yeah, I messed that up. Should have done that differently. Yeah, definitely. I can look back at who and wins I've done and just think I could have done more research on that. I could have looked in a bit more thoroughly. There's videos where I'd given opinions and I went back and went, ugh. Especially my early videos where I kind of didn't know how to pace my speech. So I was kind of talking extremely fast. It was kind of hard to make out what I was saying. So yeah, I look back on those and like, yeah, I could have done that differently. And other moments, there's been moments of people where I think I messed that. I could have done it differently. I remember not getting too descriptive. First girl I ever kissed, like the first girl I ever kissed. I remember we were at my friend's house and we kissed, and it was definitely going somewhere. And then I made a stupid mistake, and I realized, oh, that could have gone even further, and I was stupid and didn't realize that. So I look back and go, huh. You idiots. So yeah, there's things I look back on and go, oh well, you could have done that differently. 12. What legendary fictional cars would you steal in a heartbeat if they were real? Fictional cars. So we're just thinking about like cars that don't actually exist, like they're souped up or something like that. Maybe they have like special. Okay, I can give you one right out of the gate. Either the DeLorean that can go back in time, or more importantly, J&K's car from Men in Black, because that thing looks just like, a decent car, but it is a beast and is fitted as such. So give me the Men in Black car. Number 13 and the last one. What made up beers would you want to try just once before you kick the bucket? Beers? Oh, none of them. Sorry to tell you this. I don't drink beer. I don't like beer. The only beer I've ever liked is a ginger beer from a bar we have relatively local called New City. That's maybe a 30-minute drive away. And I do like that beer, but it's a ginger beer. It doesn't even taste really like beer. There's enough ginger and sweetness in there where I'm okay with it. Otherwise, I don't like beer. I just don't. So, sorry to say. All right, then. Lethal Injection 1 of 4. I like this kind of back and forth where some people are giving me up to 13 questions, and the next person giving me 3 or 4, and then the next person doing, because the next person, Noble Chief, is giving me 10 questions after this. But Lethal Injection 1 of 4. World War Z zombies or Edge of Tomorrow aliens? What's the worst fight to slash? Oh, sorry. What is worse to fight / try to survive? Oh, it's the Edge of Tomorrow aliens. 100%. The Z zombies are problematic, but we know there's a weakness. If they don't like sick people. So if you're just infected with maybe just a disease that isn't going to be lethal, but is just you're going to be sick with it, they're not going to see you. And then, eventually we could probably overcome them. The Edge of Tomorrow aliens, because they have the ability to literally loop back time and redo the battle in their favor, that's a losing fight for us. Unless you're able to get to the, I believe it's called the Omega, which is the center alien core where, time traveling comes from, you're not winning against those things. That's just a losing fight. So yeah, it's definitely the Edge of Tomorrow aliens are the bigger fight and the worst problem, and we would die out eventually. Number 2, do you think Black Frieza will be the final boss of Dragon Ball Super, or will they keep going? Oh, they're going to keep going forever. They will figure out ways to keep going even with Akira Toriyama, God rest his soul, gone. They will keep, well, maybe not forever, but they will go beyond Black Frieza. Black Frieza is not going to be the end-all, be-all, I don't think. And to be fair, maybe, and I don't think he's the final antagonist of Dragon Ball Super, but even if he is, they'll just make a new Dragon Ball series after that. Dragon Ball's probably never going away, ever. They got Dragon Ball Dama right now, which I'm not a real big fan of. Okay, that's not true. I've never actually watched it, but it's not what I wanted to see. So I'm really just not interested in watching. I've heard actually good things, and it's on Hulu. So maybe I will try to give it a watch, because it is expanding the lore of Dragon Ball very interesting. I've seen the fact that we have a creator. We now know who the creator of the multiverse is, where Boo ultimately came from. All right. But that being said, yeah, no, I don't personally think he'll be the final boss, but whatever. Whether he is or not. Number 3, would you rather have mastered Super Saiyan or Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Both cases, you have chakra and ki control. Mastered, I'm going with the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan because I get a lot more abilities rather than just Super Saiyan. I get a giant chakra mech of a Susanoo. Depending on whose Sharingan I have, I mean, it's my own Sharingan, I guess, but I'd have unique abilities from that Sharingan. It could be Amaterasu. I mean, Kamui in theory I could have. But then again, maybe I have a unique ability. I did that for Naruto when I did his. So I'd rather have the Mangekyo, Eternal Mangekyo, fully mastered. Oh yeah, I'd rather have that one. What are a couple predictions you have for the world, or something specific for the next 10 years? Predictions for the world. Well, at least for America, for the next 4 years, it's not going to be a fun time. We were already a divided people about 8 years ago, when he first got elected, and then we're going to be even probably more divided now. Now, that being said, I'm not 100% sure this presidency will be as bad as the last one, believe it or not. Because he's not as mentally put together. You might think that's a bad thing, but because of that, he's already gotten pushback from people because he's gone kind of insane already. So now it's going to be bad. So that's one thing. But 10 years, as in the total whole of the world, I mean, conflict is always going to happen. We're already got 2 wars going on probably right now. Ukraine and freaking, Middle East. Luckily, they finally called the ceasefire on that, so there's that. I mean, we're just going to be dipping more and more into the climate control issues. So there's that. Do I see another pandemic happening? I don't know. Anything's possible. Do I see any light in the darkness? new inventions are happening all the time. I mean, try to live in the world of media, and and art and all that. So in content creation. So I try to be more of a positive force in the world rather than a negative one. And I try not to focus on the negative too much, especially in the real world. As it stands, though, I couldn't really give you a sound prediction for the real next decade. Well, I'll see you at 45 to let you know what happened in the last decade. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for the questions. Noble Chief asked 1 to 10. Let's go. 10 questions. Here we go. What's your thoughts on a Pain Lantern Corps? Cord. It's Core, by the way, but technically it's Core, but it's spelled Corp. I would see it being like a pinhead. Give and ask for pain. Maroon would be their color. Well, remember, it does have. I think it does. Well, it no longer has to be on the light spectrum because gray isn't. Because for the Star Lantern Corps, but a Pain Lantern Corps would be interesting. We are moving away from emotions, admittedly, unless it's emotional pain. But it really is not, and they could be a very interesting antagonistic Lantern Corps. I don't know about Maroon, but I mean, maybe like a very dark red maroon, like a bloody maroon or something like that. It would have to be a very aggressive color, I think, to represent pain. That being said, yeah, like the idea, you said you could see it being like Pinhead, give and asking for pain. I think it would be more something along the lines of you have to be in constant pain in some kind. Like being a lantern of pain means you are constantly in pain of some kind, be it emotional, physical, or both. But it would also give you immunity to a certain level of pain, and any extra pain actually increases. Like if he's going up against a Green Lantern and the Green Lantern actually starts beating his ass, he actually would get more powerful. It's kind of like Ultra Ego with Vegeta. The more damage he takes, the stronger he gets. The more pain he feels, the stronger he gets. Oh, excuse me. Which hypothetically means there would be no upper limit to how strong this lantern would get. Assuming that their pain didn't just peak out and they couldn't get any stronger, that the dopamine constantly is dumbing it down. I could see even their suits being like Iron Maidens, where like when they gain their lantern suits, something like small but very painful spikes are just in their bodies, like, and maybe they even move around to just cause more pain if the pain starts to dull. So, but yeah, a Pain Lantern Corps would be really cool, actually. 2, have you seen the new trailer for the new Marvel vs. Capcom game yet? When you brought that question up, I looked into it. I'm like, I'm like, yeah, cool, great. I'm good. Sorry to say, I'm good. Have you ever played Marvel Rivals? If so, thoughts? What's your favorite no, I have not. Sorry. What's your favorite DBZ Dragon Ball Z abridged joke? Oh God. Okay, so if I were to think of a couple ones, pecking order's one of my favorite. Pecking order. Listen up, maggots. Here's the order. It goes you, the dirt worms in the dirt, Popo stool, Kami, then Popo. But what about pecking order? The pecking order is one of my favorite jokes. Also, all these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle. Kami, I need you to tell me I can leave the lookout whenever I want. Mr. Popo, you can leave the lookout. Bitch, don't tell me what to do! All these squares make a circle. So yeah, those are some of the ones that live rent free in my head. I mean, Dragon Ball Z Abridged was so that like they didn't even know how big it was going to just take off, and they were like amazed by the success of it. It really is just I just loved some of those jokes, absolutely. Let's see here. If you could make one DBZ movie canon, which one would I choose? Oh, okay. Assuming that I could figure out a way to tie it into the actual canon of the story. I actually really prefer Dragon Ball Super Broly over to the original Broly, so not say I don't like Broly as an antagonist. I think I do prefer Super's interpretation of that. Which one would I make canon? That's a good question. Maybe, just maybe, I might go either Cooler or the Super 13, Android 13 episode, the movie. I might go either one of those, because those are pretty, and it would make sense, and from a canon standpoint, it actually makes sense that Juro would still have backup androids, too. So I wouldn't mind, maybe the Super 13 movie, I might go that or Fusion Reborn. I just like Fusion Reborn. All right then. Let's see. Have you watched Superpower Beatdown in down? It's like Death Battle. I've seen Superpower Beatdown. I know they're doing a fundraiser, Kickstarter for their next video. Or next videos, which I believe is Batman versus the Shredder is the next one. So yeah, I do like Superpower Beatdown quite a bit. I don't like that it's fan voted. But that's not true. I like that it's fan voted. I do, but that just means it's not Death Battle in terms of at least research is now whether or not you like I think Death Battle does good research is entirely a different question, but at least they actually do research instead of like fan voting it. But still, that doesn't mean I don't like Superpower Beatdown. Superpower Beatdown is awesome, especially some of their I like some of their videos quite a lot. Some of them are more like, but like the Deadpool and Domino versus Joker and Harley, that's a classic one. I love that one. Okay. When you think about or read a comic, manga, or watch a show, anime, what voice actor, actresses is that? Is that a character to you? Okay, let me try reading that again because I know what you're trying to say. When you think about or read a comic / manga, or watch a show / anime, what voice actor or actress is I think is that a character to you? Is that character to you? I think you put a little too many words there. Example, Kevin Conroy, Bruce Wayne, Batman. Well, that's anytime I'm reading Batman, that's definitely Batman I'm thinking of. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I've said multiple times, I am a fan of Bleach. I am a huge, huge fan of Bleach. I have a Zanpakuto series I do every week. I love Bleach. And I honestly think it is one of the best. It's probably the best of the big three for me. I admit I haven't read a lot of One Piece, but I just think it is the best of the three. I think there's better parts of it than Naruto. Anyway, whenever I am reading Bleach, and when I listen or watching Bleach, the voice actor for Kenpachi for me is always the same voice actor who did Jiraiya. Because around the Arrancar arc, right after he fought Naruto, they switched the voice actors up. Now, I don't know if that was like a payment dispute or something like that, because he was still around to do the voice of Shippuden Jiraiya. So I'm not, and he's still around to do like Boruto episodes, that actor. So I'm not sure why he stopped doing the voice of Kenpachi, but his Kenpachi voice is the perfect voice for Kenpachi in my mind. That's very gruff, has a little bit of a rasp to it. And then, he knew how to do that maniacal, just, I love this shit laugh. And that's the voice I always hear when I think of Kenpachi. Same with Mayuri. Whenever I'm hearing Mayuri, I'm always thinking of the dub, not the. The Japanese like, nande, but with Mayuri, I always think of this voice. Yes. So yeah, I'm. Those are a couple ones that always are in my head. Number 8. How far do you think Baby DBZ, DBGT, Dragon Ball GT, would last in DC Comics? Well, he is a planet buster, so pretty far. If he were going through like the whole possession thing, well, let me rephrase this. He's only a planet buster if he's possessing a planet buster. Although I believe he does take on the traits of hosts he's had prior. For example, when he left Vegeta's body, he did look like he did, similar to a transformed Vegeta. Either way, depending on who he's possessing, like, would he be able to possess and control Superman? He's more technological than Magic. Because if he were Magic, then yes, he could. But if he's not, I think Superman might be like that point where he's just like, nope, you're getting out of here right now. I'm just going to fly into the sun and burn you out of my body now. Thank you very much. My body can take it. Can yours? Like, there you go. But no, I think depending on who he's possessing, like going through the world, I think he'd be very capable of possession. And he could go very far. Would he be like an end-all, be-all threat? No, I don't think that. But he definitely would. Go pretty far, I think. What's your Sinister Six team? It's got to be some of the classics on there. Doc Ock, Mysterio. I think the Shocker was a part of the Sinister Six for a while. The Rhino was part of it. Vulture was part of it. And the Chameleon used to be part of it. If I were to like change the lineup to my specifications, I'd go Venom or Carnage. Probably Venom. Doc Ock. I'd go Kraven. I'd still go Mysterio. Probably Electro. And then maybe Scorpion. I'll be honest. Vulture has never been that impressive, even at least in terms of power. All right then. And then 10. If Spider-Man and Flash were to switch villain teams, so Spider-Man got his rogues and Flash got his Sinister Six and his rogues, who do you think would have the harder time? Spider-Man, 100%, because you have the Reverse Flash as one of your villains, and Spider-Man, for all his speed, is not tackling a guy who consistently moves beyond light speed and can travel through freaking time. So, yeah, no, Spider-Man, for all his spider sense and powers, he would not be able to handle this Flash's rogues gallery with the Reverse Flash alone. Flash would be able to make mincemeat of Spider-Man's foes relatively just like he could wrap the. No one on Spider-Man's rogues gallery except for maybe Electro would have speed to be able to even come close to the Flash. Even that Flash far exceeds Electro. So yeah, no. Keep up the good work and happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Well, thank you for that. All right then. Horrible Drawer asks, do you think Bugs Bunny is the best Toon Force user? No. To what extent do you think a story? That's a different question. So do you think he's the best Toon Force user? No, I don't. He is a good Toon Force user, but Daffy is just as good depending on the circumstances, same as any Looney Tune. Honestly, the best Toon Force user is the Mask, because that's his entire stick. That's his entire shtick, is Toon Force. Whereas Bugs has Toon Force, but that's not his shtick. He's just a rat, and he gets, as someone put in the comments, he's been beaten by a turtle on the regular. And even Bugs is not infallible. He's like, what's Opera Doc? Like, he knew how to die in that play. So there you go. No, Bugs is not the best Toon Force user. To what extent do you think a story should foreshadow something? What should be random? What should be built up? What do you think is the difference between being cool? Okay, that's a different question. Try separate these out, not just one sentence. But to what extent should something be foreshadowed? That all depends on how you're foreshadowing. Look at Deadpool 2, where it's like, rumor is they keep a monster in the basement along with a huge pile of foreshadowing. Yeah, that's pretty obvious, but that's the nature of that movie. Whereas foreshadowing or building something up in the story, like let's look at Doctor Who, for example. They were cleverly foreshadowing the Master's return for a good while. Like, you are not alone. Giannis, if you look at it like an acronym, it's you are not alone. So it all depends on how you do it. You could do it throughout an entire series, Bad Wolf, again, Doctor Who, or you can do it once and it can still pay off. So it's really a catch-all kind of thing. Like, any way you do it can work. And that being said, if you do it a certain way, doesn't mean it will work. So there you go. What's the difference, do you think, between being cool and being stupid? Example: a monster in a movie being building size might seem cool, but making it triple the size of a mountain might seem stupid or take people out of the movie. It all depends on the world at the context of the world you're in, right? Let's actually do Cloverfield. What you just brought up, the monster example. In Cloverfield, the monster is huge, but he's not bigger than all the buildings. He is a giant Godzilla type kaiju. So that makes sense, and therefore that's at least cool, or if you interpret it as cool. Now, if you interpret it as stupid for other reasons apart from just the example you're giving, that's another thing. But in, what was it, the Cloverfield Paradox, when they wind up on Earth and the monster is so big it just standing up reaches the skyline, well, that's just stupid. Because it's like, well, wait, we were never given the implication it could get bigger. It was implied it was a newborn, but this makes no sense from just a biological standpoint. So that, I think, is the difference between something being cool and stupid. Context in the world and the rules of your own world. If you break the rules of your own world, you're no longer cool, you're stupid. If we're talking about in real life, that's simply a matter of perspective. You might do something that someone thinks is cool, but someone else thinks is stupid. That's entirely up for opinion and perspective. All right, then. Chris Dash. Would you ever consider making what-ifs about DC, Marvel, Dragon Ball, and Sonic characters going to Hazbin Hotel universe? I suppose it'd have to be suggested, but I suppose. if you're going to be a Dragon Ball villain, but good, would you choose to be Perfect Cell or Super Boo? Probably Super Boo. He's got more abilities than Wow. Technically speaking, Super Boo does not have more abilities than Perfect Cell, but he also does because he's absorbed a lot of people. But he's also just far more powerful than Perfect Cell. So, and has magic. And I can make any sweets I want. So I'd go Super Boo. 4. What's your favorite DC, Marvel, and Ninja Turtle arcade games? Well, I've never really played the arcade games for Ninja Turtles. DC and Marvel arcade games? I mean, I remember the X-Men one, where he was like that, side scrolling, choose a character. I think it was the Uncanny X-Men one. I remember that. If we're talking about just straight games, that's different. Like just straight video games. Again, I didn't really play any TMT games. But I'd go Arkham and Arkham City. I didn't ever got around to playing Arkham Knight. But Arkham City for DC, that's just a fantastic game. And honestly, it's either the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions or the Spider-Man, the one where you're playing as the 4 different Spider-Man. I have it right over there, but I never played the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game. I heard they're fantastic, but I just don't have that system. So yeah, there you go. All right, Insane Makayoshin asks looks like just 2. Given that media has become more interested in exploring different types of relationships, do you think that polygamy will become more common in comics? What ships would you like to see? Mine is Spider-Man X Jackpot X Black Cat. Jackpot. I'm actually not familiar with that character, but probably. I mean, they did do the whole Wolverine, Jean Grey, Scott Summers one. I know I'm pretty sure they've explored some other ones before, but would I like to see any of them? Nah, I can't say I care that much, honestly. I saw one that was really stupid, actually. And you can tell, and I don't really want to sound like I'm calling anyone out, but I have a feeling this person who wrote this was gay. When they said that Wolverine's always been gay, okay? He's always been gay. I'm like, no, he's not, and no, he is not. Now, maybe he's fluid enough to bang a dude. That's fine, but he's never been gay. Just because he's in a poly relationship with a woman and another man does not make him gay. It makes him open. It makes him, at a very minimum, bisexual. And there's nothing wrong with that. But don't sell lies in your article, man. Or girl, whatever it is. But anyway, do I care? But I don't. Okay, if I were to think of a pairing I would like if we were to go down this route in comics, let's stick with the Spider-Man one. I'd say Spider-Man Black Cat is at least in recent comics, because the writers decided to completely obliterate and assassinate Mary Jane's character. Black Cat, maybe Silver Sable, or actually no, Spider-Man's dated some X-Men characters before. Black Cat and is Kitty old enough to be dating yet? Maybe Kitty. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. I'm not. I tell I'm not really. I don't care that much. If they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. That being said, Wolverine, Storm, and Mystique. Because as you just kind of pointed out there, I'm not seeing enough of the other side of the poly right now. So two girls and a guy. And I'm going to tell you right now, 1,000%, I'm a Wolverine and Storm fan over a Wolverine and Jean Grey fan. I like them as a couple. They really, really actually, I think, work well as a couple together. And even if they're just like really good friends, I still think they work really well together. And Wolverine has had a romantic relationship with Mystique in the past. So, in certain comic iterations. So, Mystique, and Storm, I could dig on that pairing. Or that trip pairing? I don't know what you would call that. That coupling. Anyway, that relationship. There you go. Number 2, any interest in doing a series devoted to showing how much stronger characters could be if they took every opportunity to get stronger? Example, Krillin Yamcha climb Korn's Tower for Tien Saga, Z Fighter. So I actually do have a series like that. I haven't done a video like that in a while, though. And I know you're saying these are not what ifs. I know what you're talking about. But it is, let's build the strongest character. And I've done Naruto and I've done Goku. Let's build the strongest version we've done. I haven't done a couple of those in a while. And maybe what I'll do is actually take the Yamcha and Krillin suggestion did and make the video out of those. That's really not a bad idea at all. But no, I do have that. I just haven't done a lot. I don't get a lot of suggestions for it. And to be honest, I actually kind of forgot I did those videos. But now that you brought it up, I'm like, I really should maybe do, because they're not that hard to do. I just got to think of everything they need to do to get stronger. To think of the strongest version of that character. So yeah, I definitely do those videos. I've done those videos. I just haven't done one in a while. All right then. So thank you for the questioning. James Riley, have you ever watched Beyblade? Yes, I have. And if so, which one was your favorite? Or if you're familiar enough with them to make a what if about them? I only watched the first 3 series with the original groups. Tyson, Kai, Max, Array, the Blade Breakers. I'm only familiar with them. Not the like next ones beyond there. Of the 3, oh, that's tough. Like obviously G Revolution had the best animation and budget, but I did, and they focused a lot more on the blading than they did say like the Bit Beasts and all. Like the Bit Beasts were still there, but they just like were there like when using their max attack. You saw them, whereas the V-Force focused more on the Bid Beast side. Like you actually saw the Bid Beast actually fighting. Bit Beast, sorry. I keep saying Bid. It's Bit Beasts actually fighting. And then the first season was kind of, I think, the best mix of the both. If I were to say which one I like the most, if we're just going by the blading, I would go with probably G Revolution. But if I were going with, like, say, the best blend of the 2, I would say it's actually the first season, but if I were going with the best with some of the best moments combined with that soundtrack, because I did a whole, you can find it in my ranking of the Beyblade soundtracks. I did that. Because it shows you that I very much was a fan of Beyblade. Then it's actually season 2, because season 2 I think used the soundtrack the best. I actually do. Like, you know, if you want, what was that? Swing down, swing low. So one of the best. Swing down, swing low. If you want to play the game, now swing low, let it rip, Beyblade. And you know, what was it? What was that? Waited so long. You gonna what was it? Gonna steal your thunder. I'm the underdog, man. When Kai went balls out on that guy, just like, you're dead. I am going to waste your blade into the dust. Like, you can just see the like he's just scared shitless at that point. Oh, that was great. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I owe it Switchblade. Switchblade, do what I got to. It's blade. Is it a test of them? And cause if you can live like me underground with no way, or what was that? Lonely sights and lonely sounds, can you fight the darkness all around? No way up and no way down. For me, this is the only game in town. I am a 35-year-old man, and I might just now listen to the Beyblade soundtrack later today because I love that music so much. Like that, I'm going on a tangent here, but, and I think I went on, and I mentioned this when I did the video. I think it was like Fox Kids or something like that, for a Saturday morning cartoon show, that soundtrack went way harder than it had any reason to go, and it was awesome. God almighty, I love that soundtrack. And I love the series, honestly. I liked the first 3 seasons of Beyblade, absolutely. After that, I didn't give a shit. I really didn't. Because now we're going into like Metal Revolutions and all that. I'm like, this isn't Blade, this is not Beyblade. And no more Bid Beast really at all. I'm like, what's the point of all this now? It's just gone stupid. Anyway, I digress. Where are we for time? Hey, we're only just at the hour mark. Okay, we're doing all right. Okay, SR Varus, out of the 3 My Hero What Ifs you've done so far, which Izuku do you think is the strongest at their peak? At their peak? At their peak, it's the Kyuubi Naruto. Kyuubi Deku. Deku with his own quirk is powerful, but it's just a new fire type quirk. That's all it is. It's just a pyrokinetic fire type quirk. The Lobo Deku at his peak is powerful, but he's nowhere near as strong as Lobo himself. who can rival Superman at times. Whereas full power Kurama Deku straight out as a planet buster if he needed to be, because he also was able to get one for all in that series. So yes, it would be the full power Kurama Deku, I think. Okay, Luke Zera, are there any old horror games that you think should get a remake or at least some more attention? I personally think these should. Monstrum, Splatterhouse, and House of the Dead. Not a big horror game fan. Not because I'm scared of them, because I never played them. And honestly, horror is just not my genre as a movie, so it really probably wouldn't really be my genre as a game either, to be honest. If I were to think on that real quick, though, I guess. I mean, House of Dead's not bad. Castlevanias, though, should really be getting more love, I think. They're not really horror, but they do kind of still fall in that realm, that category a little bit. So I guess the Castlevanias. Ichigo Kurosaki. Yo, Merry Christmas. Hope your friends and your family have an awesome holiday season and a killer year ahead. We hope so, too. We had a good day today. Anyways, I got a few questions for you. Check these out. Will do. You got 1 to 9. 1. When you look back on the year, what really stood out to you? Let's see. I'll talk about my personal life a little bit, and I'll talk about the channel. Personal life, not a lot stood out to me. Although, again, is stupidity the right word? The lack of what's the best way to put this? The way society now views our government. I think that's the best way to put it. With the election and everything that happened here. And it's just, it is what it is. It kind of shows that, and don't get me wrong, there's certainly a level of stupidity that stands out to me, but it also shows that we are really sick and tired of status quos, that we would go back to a guy who we know for a fact did not have a good presidency, and these people who try to convince themselves that, oh no, he's the best. Like, really, what good actually happened in that presidency? Name me 3 total things he did that were good. Because if I remember correctly, I think Trump got like 1 good thing. I think he did like 1 or 2 things that weren't bad, but it was just completely leveled out by his incompetence overall, and he just made us a laughingstock of the world, pretty much. Like, even like UN and NATO, like, were just made us a laughingstock. We made a laughstock of us. So yeah, are willing to just go back to something we know is probably bad for us, but we for some reason we trust it for whatever reason. Now, in terms of talking about the channel, what stood out? Well, my growth slowed down, but my growth slowed down once I hit around 10,000 to begin with. The growth is slow at the moment, absolutely. What it did stand out to me, though, and AI cat clock, or is it AI clock cat? Or is it cat AI clock? I very rarely name out viewers or channels, but this is one of those rare times that I'm actually going to name drop you. And I might be getting this name wrong right now. In fact, I'm actually going to go into my playlists right now. Well, not playlists. Go in my cons and find this name, because this is very important. And I'm really not trying to be a dick here, but this is about as big a dick as I'm going to be towards a individual person that I'm naming out. So this ironically goes back to, weirdly enough, a question that I did in the last Q&A, because this individual, now I don't know if this is actually just a bot or not. I think it might be a bot, to be honest. I don't know if this person is a real person or not. But they do have a YouTube account. They do make a lot of videos. But the thing is, they keep giving the same message, which makes me wonder if they are just a bot. But point being, I'm going to keep scrolling through until I can find the appropriate name, because I'm sure some of you have seen this person in the comments. Let's see here. And normally I don't do that, because normally I've been on here for years now. I got a thick enough skin I can tolerate just about anything. But it's what this person is actually saying and and what they're doing that kind of rubs in the wrong way. And I haven't banned them from the comments yet, because there's such a small channel that if it's a real person, I don't really care that much. At least in the sense of, oh, there it is, AI Clock Cat 24. Now, this person has a YouTube channel where they're doing shorts and they do verses. Okay, great. But someone asked me in my last Q&A, has anyone tried to go off of your success? Have they, tried to steal whatever from you? And the answer to that is, at the time, was no. No, they were not. But as it stands, this is the first time I can say yes, someone is, because this individual constantly is going up, is constantly going to viewers and commenters and saying that they will make the fight for them in 2 weeks. Well, that's fine. That's great. I don't own these suggestions. The problem here, and if you're watching AI, I want to, okay, and I'm thinking this is actually a real person because they actually changed what they said about, because they're not, because that's the thing. I don't think it's a bot because they're not going to every single request. But basically, they usually say, oh, it takes me like 2 weeks to make this fight for you happen for you. Fine, whatever. And now they said 3 weeks for this one request. However, AI, if you're watching, I want you to know that while I am only kind of irked by this, other people could really take offense if you're doing this in other places. You basically said it would take me a year to make this fight happen. You don't fucking know that. Yes, it does take me a long time to get to everyone, to a lot of people, because I'm trying to be fair and not play favorites. So yes, in theory, it might take a while. But as far as you know, that next person could be the next one up. So in essence, you're calling me out for the lack of content I make, the lack of effort. You're just calling people out and saying they're not quick on the draw. They're just too slow to do it. I can do it faster for you right now if you go watch my videos. Now, like I said, I don't own these ideas. You can do these ideas. Hell, you can say, hey, all you would have to say is, hey, if you like, I can do this for you in 2 weeks on my channel. And here's the thing. This is why I'm not that pissed off about it, is because I'll still get to the suggestion. They still want to hear, this person still probably wants to hear my take on the subject. But if you're starting to, belittle's not the right term. If you're starting to slander, that's kind of what it is, actually. Well, technically it's liable when it's in print. But the point, you're very, very mildly slandering someone where you're saying it's going to take them a certain amount of time when you don't know that for a fact. And then basically hijacking the idea. You're basically saying, I'm going to do this idea before he gets to it, or they get to it. And then you're going to go see me, and it's going to help boost my fame. So that's the thing I learned. It's like, wow, now people are actually going into my videos and stealing. So now I'm also probably positive you're going into other people's videos and doing this. I'm assuming. That being said, I will be honest. I've looked at your channel. It's a relatively small channel. It's only YouTube Shorts. But because it's shorts, you can make them indefinitely very quickly. I would say, though, that here's my advice to you when you're doing that. I've watched a couple of your videos. They're fine. Not my personal style, but fine. But you've also done videos where you're just teased up the fight just to entice people to watch the next video. Don't do that. You're not big enough to do that and get away with it. And this is not me being mean towards you. This is just facts. You're not big enough to, you're not making the kind of the video that would work in that sense, to be like, okay, we got this and this. So watch the next video to find out. That very rarely can you get away with that. But beyond that, what's the best way to put it? But beyond that, they're very short, and you're using the AI voice, hence why you're called AI Clock Cat. So, look, if you want to grow your channel, that's fine, but don't diss on other people, even if it's mildly, to do it. Because right now, I don't give a rat's ass about blocking you from the comments. You're trying to grow your channel, that's fine. I have no issue with that. If you are gonna start, dissing other people, or if you're gonna keep doing this, and then I might have to ban you from the comments, just because you're stealing ideas from other content creators. Essentially, that's not exactly true, but you're not trying to knock down other content creators, maybe unintentionally, to try to strengthen your own brand. And that's not a cool way to go about it, dude. So that's something that stood out to me this year. Now, again, that being said, if I would encourage you to watch this individual's videos to see if they're more your speed, honestly. Because sometimes people just want the shorts. They do. So, yeah, that's just my take. If you could talk to any historical figure, who would it be? That's a good question. I've never really thought about that, really. Historical figures. So anyone from here all the way to, in the time. I don't know, maybe Jesus. Just to be like, hey, Jesus, what's up? How's the things going? What do you think of those crosses? Should I tell him? Maybe, no, like legit, maybe just to pick his brain and see what's going on there. Maybe I would talk to, John Lennon would be fun. Honestly, no, actually, what I could really consider thinking of doing, talk to the historical figures who maybe passed too early, and maybe just try to talk them through and maybe try to keep them around longer to see if they could have done more, or done better. No, number 3. Who do you think deserves a spot on the Mount Rushmore of horror slashers? Well, that's actually a pretty easy question. If we're talking about 4 spots, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, there's your immediate 4. The 4th one's always a little bit harder, because some people would say Leatherface, some people would say Chucky, and some people would say Ghostface. If we're looking at it from the perspective of a slasher, I actually don't really consider Leatherface a slasher. He is, but he's not. I would probably, but that being, because Ghostface is a more traditional slasher. Whereas Leatherface, it's a weird, more situational circumstance you have to be in danger from him. But if I were to, I would probably say it's got to be either Ghostface or Leatherface. Chucky might be an honorable mention, but it's got to be one of those two. I would probably lean more towards Ghostface, though. So Freddy, Michael, Jason, Ghostface. So that's who I'd put on there. Got any favorite Angry Video Game Nerd episodes? I actually didn't watch Angry Video Game Nerd. I wasn't that big on them. Not that I hated them, just not my style, not my type. Like I didn't watch a lot of Linkara either. So that was my thing. Who's your favorite classic horror movie monster? I'm talking real old school, like Dr. Frankenstein or Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Probably the Wolfman. I like werewolves a lot. The Creature in the Black Lagoon was fun too. Do not be rude or anything, but can you think of a time where you're totally wrong about something that and then you had your head up your ass? I was already asked this question. And I'm sure there has been times I've had my head up my ass before, but it's not one of those scenarios I could have an instance or a moment right off the top of my head. Sorry. What's your plans for Christmas? I've already said it. Movie, gas, cash my Scotch tickets, all that. Are you watching Die Hard this year? Maybe. I haven't watched it yet, but maybe. It's basically a Christmas movie, right? Yeah. No, even Bruce Willis came out and said, it's not a Christmas movie. It's a goddamn Bruce Willis movie. Yeah, no, it's a Christmas movie. And if anyone argues it's not, the whole idea of it has nothing to do with Christmas. It just takes place at Christmas. Yeah, and your point. What defines a Christmas movie? Because let me put it this way, and this is why I'll always argue it is a Christmas movie. Because if you are someone who would argue that It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie, then Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Because It's a Wonderful Life has nothing to do with Christmas, save the fact it takes place at Christmas near the end. That's it. It's like, yeah, that is literally it. So yeah, if that can be a Christmas movie, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Who do you think would win in a fight, the Cybermen or the Borg? I believe I did write this one down. It would be the Borg. The Cybermen, as powerful as they are actually pretty limited in terms of what they can do technologically speaking. The Borg are not. The Borg can still get screwed up and fucked up. I think they lost to the Dominion at one point, very hard. But if this was, say, the Daleks versus the Borg, I'd probably more go with the Daleks. But the Cybermen, they are literally just human bodies encased in cybernetic armor. The Borg are possessed humans, but they are literally can control every aspect of their ship. They are one giant hive mind of sentient technology. The Cybermen kind of are too, but they are a little different as well. I think it's also easier. It's easier for the Borg to replenish their ranks than the Cybermen are to replenish theirs. So in a battle of attrition, the Borg would win. Now, the question would be, could the Cybermen turn Borg into Cyber-Borgmen? Probably not, because there's extra technology in there. But because they can interface with technology as well, the Borg, they really wouldn't be able to do much, I think, against the Cybermen. The Cybermen would probably get hacked and then taken over, and maybe repurposed into the new era of Borg. All right, and looking back, what was your biggest disappointment of this year? Oh, probably finding out I needed a new car. That was that and the election. But I mean, that was probably the big one. Finding I needed a new car in the election. That was it. Power to 99. What would you do if you were in My Hero Academia? Well, that's a what if. That's a what if to do. And it is written down. Don't worry. Me and My Hero Academia. Assuming that I am a person with a quirk, I'd become a hero. Now, I will not say what my quirk actually would be, but I've given 3 ideas. And whenever I get around to me in My Hero, I'll ask you what you think. I would like to think I'd be in Class 1A if I was a kid, but if I was my age and a pro hero, I'd like to think I'd be dating Mirko or Dragon Lady. One of the two. But the names of the quirks I have, and you can figure this out, would be Solar Power, Graft, or Battle Oni. I'll leave it at that. So those, I'll leave it at that, and you can speculate what those quirks might actually be. But if I were in My Hero, I would definitely be a hero, assuming I have a quirk. And hell, even if I didn't have a quirk, I could totally be like a weird sensei figure. Be like, oh, and I could teach her. It's like, oh, you think you're pretty good, huh? Okay, let's go around. What? It's like, you don't have a quirk. I'm gonna obliterate you. Tough talk from such a little firecracker. And just boom. Next, punch. And literally just be that guy who, without a quirk, can literally smack down everyone's like. So we've now learned your quirks don't make you. You make your quirks. Anyway, so that'd be me and My Hero if I didn't have a quirk. All right now. Kynereth the Demon. 1 of 3. I was kind of nervous last time because it was my first. So I'm got a lot more for you. 3 whole more. Oh, read more. Sorry, no, 3 not 3 more. It's 6 more. Okay. Do you think a Quincy Hollow Hybrid, aka Quincy car, could exist? It also could be a Halsey. It could also be a Halsey. No, not like the same way a Vizard can exist. Now, a hybrid of Hollow, Shinigami, Quincy, and human can exist. We know that's what Ichigo is. But a straight Quincy Hollow hybrid, no, because we know for a fact that Hollow Ryatsu is straight up poisonous to Quincy's. That's why they kill them. So I don't think you could have a straight Quincy Hollow hybrid. Now, granted, we do see an Iran car with a Quincy cross later on, like in the very beginning of the 1,000-Year Blood War, but they never really explained, even with the anime updating a lot of stuff and adding stuff, what that was about, how that really worked. I'm not exactly sure what that was. Maybe it was more like that was a Zanpakuto kept in a cross or something. I don't know. Anyway, if it was, what kind of potential would it have? Oh, well, we've seen as how powerful we've seen Quincy's can be and how powerful Hollows can be. It would be a dangerous combination because now you have a Hollow that can literally just absorb Ryatsu and Ryoko from the entire environment and just strengthen itself, and probably add that into its resurrection if it had one. If it has a Shrift, good night, Irene. That's a dangerous foe. Not to mention it would still have access to like Balas, Seros, all of that. Let's see here. 3. Do you prefer Jack Daniels or Jim Beam? Sorry if this. That's not personal at all, dude. Come on. I like both, but Jack is probably a little bit more my speed. How powerful do you think a legendary Super Saiyan God would be? What do you mean? I think a Super Saiyan, a legendary. Oh, so you mean like Broly, but as a Super Saiyan God? Is that what you mean? Because the first legendary Super Saiyan was in fact, I believe, called his name was what, Yamoshi, and he was actually Super Saiyan was actually a Super Saiyan God. His body just couldn't handle it. If we're talking about like Broly, then, I mean, sky's the freaking limit on that guy. Technically, he has no cap on his power, really. It's a matter of what his body can handle. Uh, Enough to probably scare Beerus. Even Broly on his own scares Beerus a little bit. 5. Which tail beast do you think is has the most practical ability, which is best for everyday life? That's an interesting and weird one, and I dig it. So you'd have to understand what the unique abilities of the tail beast are. Shikaku can manipulate sand. He also has with magnet release. He's also got curse marks etched into his body. Those are what the blue markings are. Nabi would be able to just uses fire. The turtle, Sanabi, Shikaku, Sanabi, would, I think he's just got incredible defense and the coral release. Son Goku does give you lava release. Gyoku, is that the name of the 5 tails? He has steam release, we know that. And can kind of do like a weird version of, like, not true Baryon mode, but can kind of do a pseudo version of it. The slug Sankin, I think it is, can produce acid. Yuki, I believe, can produce ink. And Kurama doesn't really have a specific practical ability. And Chomai would, I believe, can fly. So honestly, it's Chomai, because flight is a very practical everyday ability that would be very useful. Finally, are you Team Goku or Vegeta? Team Goku. Even though he's been a bit of an idiot sometimes, Team Goku. King Xiao just says, welcome back. Thank you. Jacob, I dare you to read Sugverse, here to the star. Probably not going to do that, sorry. I just don't have the time to be doing a lot of that. I'm writing another story for my friends. I got to go out and do my life. There's only so much free time I actually have. So sorry. Wade Wilson, hello, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. Here are my questions. Merry Christmas. Here are my questions. Merry Christmas. 1 of 8. What are your plans for the holidays? I've gone over that multiple times. I don't need to repeat myself on that. Which period of history fascinates you the most? Oh, period of history. That's good. Probably back when, like, the Greeks and Romans were doing their thing. That's a period of history, because, like, we know what was going on there. What was going on in the rest of the world? That's an interesting point in history I like. Of all the movies you've seen in 2024, what stands out the most? The most. I'll say this. I don't think there was any one movie that was God send, oh my God, bow down and worship them, like, brilliant standout. I mean, there have been some fantastic movies this year. I'll give my top 5 next week, or top 10 next week. But in terms of standouts, it's actually probably more the bad that stands out. And Joker 2, Filet of Dew, like, that one, that stands out in a way that it should not stand out. Like, that was something really, really, like, wow. So that would probably be in Craven. That's another one. How can it actually had such really good trailers to it? And it had some really good trailers to it. Be that bad? I don't know. What is your favorite Twilight Zone twist? The guy I don't remember the name of the episode. When the guy is dead, he's got his dog, and he's trying to go to the gates, and the guy says, you can't bring your dog. And then it's really dead, and you can bring your dog to and all that. So, yeah, that one. I like that twist a lot. What's the most surprising plot twist you've ever seen in a TV show? I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever watched enough TV shows for me to be surprised by a plot twist. The problem with Doctor Who, if I were to use that one, is I've seen a lot of Doctor Who clips before I actually really started watching Doctor Who, so I already know a lot of spoilers that come ahead. It doesn't ruin my excitement for the show at all. So, like, I know that it's Angels in Manhattan. I know the big twist that's coming up in that. So, it's not ruining it for me. Big plot twist, huh? The problem is I can also see a lot of twists coming because I've been, like, watching movies and TV for so long. Like with Loki, I knew we were probably going to get He Who Remains. It was really being teed up that He Who Remains was coming. Now, I will say this. The He Who Remains scene we got in Loki season 2, I wouldn't say that was a super surprising one, But Loki becoming the god of stories, that was probably even more surprising. But him and that whole conversation, say what you will about Jonathan Majors, he's a fantastic actor. Take his personal life out of the equation. That scene was really well done. I could just rewatch that scene over and over again. Two guys now on equal playing field, where you're just like, that's one for you. You're my favorite. I liked you both, but you were my favorite. Let's see here. All right. Do you think Magneto and his Brotherhood would still serve as antagonists in My Hero Academia? That is a really good question. No, I actually don't think he would, because really the quirks are mutations. It's not the X gene, but by every metric standard you can think of, if you were to just say My Hero takes place in the Marvel Universe and it's the X-Men world, just maybe in an alternate universe, like multiverse and all that, and Magneto was there, it'd make complete sense. And the fact that the majority of society now has mutations and are mutants, no, Magneto and his Brotherhood would not be enemies in that world. They would very much be, in fact, if anything, they would actually now probably more sympathize with, because of the way society worked in this world. There was, I believe, there was a lot less wars that went on in this world, I believe. Now, Quirk Society it's never really said what the timeline for Quirk Society is, but we know it's been several generations, and several generations is not a couple decades. That's longer. We know All Might was a hero for about 60 years, so it's probably been about 100 to maybe 200 years for Quirk Society, and if it's taking place in modern day, when Quirks first started to show up. Well, no, it's not even, because we saw the first Quirk, the glowing baby, showed up in a relatively modern setting. But again, their science and stuff like that moved at a different pace than ours. So probably about 100 years minimum, which means that Magneto would not have even really would have been born in the society where Quirks were just starting out. And unlike in this world, even though heteromorphs are still frowned upon, they're the mutants of My Hero, literally. So I still don't think his Brotherhood would really serve as antagonists. They might serve closer to the paramilitary force. I believe that's what it was called. But I don't think they'd be true antagonists, no. And then, do you think Spider-Man could surpass All Might to become the #1 hero? Spider-Man performs unique acts and heroisms, like taking a cancer patient on a ride, something we don't see often in heroes. So All Might is overall at his peak stronger than Spider-Man. Now, to be fair, it's not solely about strength. There are stronger heroes than the #1 hero, like Lemillion, who is the current #1, as we learned. But that said, Spider-Man still is strong enough to probably go toe-to-toe with the majority of My Hero characters and win. And he is just an overall good person. And like you just said, taking the cancer patient kid for a ride, you don't get much more good than that. And yeah, no, and to your question, you said, do you think he could? Could? Abso-freaking-lutely. Would he? That's a very good question. He has what it takes. And fuck it, he would be a great candidate for One for All. He would be a great candidate for it. He's already got the body to survive it. That's the thing. He's already could probably use near peak One for All from the get, or at very minimum, a large portion of it from the get. So you give that to Spider-Man, he becomes a new symbol of peace, or a symbol of hope. He'd be perfect. All right, then. Diego Lorente. Where are we on the time? I don't think I'm gonna. Oh, we're only at an hour and a half. Okay. And we're getting along. Diego Lorente. Last one. And yeah, I think there's more questions you could. Which show is better to you? Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps? Ooh, good question. They're both only a half hour long. Are You Afraid of the Dark definitely was able to have a little bit more creep to it, I think. Goosebumps, but then again, one was a Nickelodeon and one was a book series prior. There was never really any episode of Goosebumps that was all that. Okay, that's not true. There were a couple episodes of Goosebumps that were certainly scary. Are You Afraid of the Dark had a very unique atmosphere. You're not asking me which one I preferred. Yes, you are, but you're not asking me which I ultimately think is more the better show overall, objectively, if you could do that, or the better made show. I think due to some of the weirdness from one of them versus the other, I think Goosebumps is a little bit better. Now I will say the atmosphere, like the starting atmosphere of Are You Afraid of the Dark, is better than, like, say, the intro to Goosebumps. Like dun dun dun, dun. I love the Goosebumps intro. Don't get me wrong, but the Are You Afraid of that where it's like, oh, this is the story of, and they made a movie and all that, and the Goosebumps series came back as a more actual horror film series, which was good. All right, then. Kyle Galliant, what teams you're gonna think? What teams you're going to think is going to be okay? What teams do I think are going to be in the Super Bowl this year? No idea. I watch the Super Bowl with friends. I don't really care who's playing, unless the Philadelphia Steelers are playing. I believe it's the Steelers, right? Only because they're one of my closest friends is from Philly and she roots for them every year. So that. Otherwise, I don't care usually. And then Jotaro Kujo, 1 of 12. Oh, God. My voice isn't gone yet, luckily. In fact, it's not even that sore yet, thank God. I like doing the it's been a while since you did one of these Q&As. Because it's fine. I guess you finally decided to give the people what they've been waiting for. It took you long enough. Anyway, enough stalling. Let's get this over with. Oh, yeah, Merry Christmas or whatever. Happy New Year, too. Not like it'll make a difference for you, but you're going to need all the luck you can get. Why, thank you, you douche. Now bring on your questions, douche Taro. Anyway, what's the dumbest earworm stuck in your head right now? Don't pretend you don't have one. I don't have one right now. But the one that sticks out to me is the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of Silver Balls. Yeah, that one, because it's kind of like almost epic action-y feeling. Sonic the Hedgehog versus Quicksilver. Who wins? No BS, just facts. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. 100% it's Sonic the Hedgehog. Even if I were to lowball Sonic the Hedgehog to the lowest margins he's ever been at, it still would be Sonic the Hedgehog because he still usually gets Toon Force on his side. If I were to max them both out, Archie Sonic moves almost as fast as the Flash. So, yeah, Quicksilver ain't keeping up with that. Lex Luthor, could that smug bastard actually take out the Z Fighters if he had the time to plan? If he had the time to plan? No. Because the reason he can go up against Superman is because Superman adds a very specific weakness to kryptonite. So he always plans that, and he's got issues with magic. So he can use that and then go toe to toe with Superman. He always does that. The Z Fighters don't have that kind of weakness. Unless they were trying to steal his fans, in which case Goku just instant transmissions and just teleports him, boom, blasts him out of there. So no, I don't think he could do it with just planning. What happens if Mr. Sinister shows up in My Hero World? Does the hero and the villain stand a chance, or is it game over? It's not game over, but Mr. Sinister in the world of My Hero, a geneticist who continually grafts DNA into his body to make himself stronger, experiments on mutants, and now learning about this new world and quirks and all that. Oh, that's a kid in the candy shop right there. And he is powerful. He wouldn't be the most powerful individual in that world, but he would certainly be a problem in that world. 5. If Goku trained in the Soul Society instead with King Kai during Saiyan Saga, we unlock his Zanpakuto before Vegeta or Nappa crash the party? Probably not. I mean, yes, he probably would be able to impart Ryotsu enough to awaken his Zanpakuto, but Goku's not a swordsman, so I mean, he fought with his power pole, so he does know how to fight with staff, but he generally fights with his hands. He's not a swordsman in that sense. So no, I don't think he would. And even if he was, I don't think he can unlock it in time. Granted, he does know how to meditate, so I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't think so. He's got less than a year. All right, then. Ghost Rider doesn't play around when it comes to sinners. No, he doesn't. Would he come after the Z Fighters considering their shady past and body counts? Probably not. At this point, most, if not all of them, are all just really good people in the end. Vegeta has overcome a lot of his issues, so no, he would not go after the Z Fighters. Could guys like Broly and Hulk beat out Kyoka so he gets it just because they're ridiculously stubborn and overpowered? Don't sugarcoat it. So Aizen directly stated that the biggest hurdle he had was reishi monsters like Yamamoto and Zaraki. Now, that is one interaction we've never actually seen is Zaraki and Aizen. So, as far as we know, Zaraki is still affected by Kyoka Suigetsu. But we also know in Bleach, it's a Ryatsu to Ryatsu thing. Which great in Ryatsu means you can actually neg other abilities. So if someone hypothetically had enough Ryatsu to say double Aizen's, they, in theory, shouldn't be affected by Kyoka Suigetsu. The question then would just become, is Broly or the Hulk someone who could be able to just neg the effects of Kyoka Suigetsu? Hulk, no. Hulk has been hypnotized before. Granted, his rage usually kind of breaks him out of like mind control, but in terms of just like controlling his senses, no, I don't think he could break out of that. Broly is definitely maybe a different case though, because he can just straight up break reality by powering up. The question is he just flat out stronger than Aizen? Probably. Like, Broly himself is probably much stronger than Aizen. Now, does he just neg Kyoka Suigetsu? Maybe not initially. But if he's going all out, yeah, I think he could break out of Kyoka Suigetsu. Not to say that you normally can. Generally speaking, you're under it as long as Aizen wants you to be under it. That's it. Let's see. Pick your poison. A Red Lantern Hulk, Carnage bonded with the Batman who laughs, Zamasu with the Infinity Gauntlet, or a Darkseid invasion. Like an invasion of multiple Darkseids or just Darkseid invading. Which one screws over everyone the hardest? Darkseid's invasions are bad, but manageable. If this is all taking the same, Zamasu with the Infinity Gauntlet's a bad one. We are definitely in trouble. Carnage bonding to the Batman who laughs isn't really all that impressive if he's not in like that universal form or multiversal form. And Red Lantern Hulk just is a Hulk with more power. I think it's got to be Infinity Gauntlet Zamasu, simply due to the grounds that he could literally wipe out not just the world, the universe, if he really wanted to. He could shut out all the stars. He could just do it. His power is the level of power the Infinity Gauntlet has, if it's being able to be used, is enough that it kind of outranks all the issues here. Now, again, if we're going with a Batman who laughs that is the multiversal version of him, where he's almost like an Eldritch entity, Carnage bonding with him doesn't mean jack shit. And in which case, it's the Batman who laughs. All right. Could Mr. Sinister outsmart Goku in the Z Fighter? Sure, he's weaker, but these guys, but the guy has been playing the long game with genetics for centuries. You think he'd screw with their DNA enough to flip the script, or maybe even boost Jiro's cell project? That one, yes. Is he smart enough to outsmart him? Oh, absolutely. He could outsmart him. Would he be able to outsmart him to overpower him? Probably not. We're talking about universe to multiverse level busters now. He doesn't deal with that very often, if at all. So he could outsmart him, doesn't mean he'd beat him. If you could have a Zanbakuto in real life, which one would you pick? Don't say Zangetsu because it's cool. No, would not be Zangetsu. It's one of three. It'd be either Katen Kyokatsui, it'd be Benihime, which I have Benihime right there, like the real Zanbakuto, though, obviously, or Ichimonji, because controlling names is busted as fuck. Benihime is very versatile. It's really just up to your imagination. And Katen Kyokatsui is a very unique Zanpakuto that I've always liked. Yamcha and Tien Shinhan and Krillin versus the Naruto verse. Do they clean house or do they get clapped? All three of them are technically planet, but Krillin definitely is. I think Tien also is if he really needs to. Even though Yamcha is no longer really a Z fighter anymore, he should still be a planet buster. Naruto as peak in theory can be, but again, there's conflicting statements on that. But even if I do scale that up, you have 3 versus 1 on planet busters. But we're talking about the Naruto first. I guess that means we also include the Otsutsuki as well. But all 3 of them can essentially move at relativistic light speeds, particularly Krillin, who can definitely move past the speed of light. And Tien, who, and Solar Flare, all that. And they're using Ki, not Chakra. Now, whether you want to make the argument that they're the same thing, go ahead, but yeah. So I would say, do they clean house? I don't think it's they get clean house or they get clapped. I think they win, but I think between like Kaguya, Jigen, all the really heaviest hitters, I think they struggle hard. Then Hercules Satan. Does this clown have what it takes to solve the boys universe? No. Or does he get wrecked? He gets wrecked. Now, granted, he's a legit martial artist, but he's not. He doesn't have any actual powers or ki. All right, thank you for that. Malcolm Oliver. Hey, look at you, huh? Still kicking even with that acid reflux thing you got going on. Don't people bring that up because sometimes I've got a bout of it. It's like anything else. You get older, things happen. I'm fine. I am fine. Don't worry about that. That's good. Real good. Anyway, I got some questions for you. Take your time. Do them morning, evening, whatever. All right, here we go. Number one, if Hollywood made a movie about you, who are you going to pick to play you? Well, let me take a look at myself real quick here. You know, I'll be honest, Zachary Levi's not a bad stand-in, I think, for me. And I do like Zachary Levi, despite some of the things that may have happened. I do like Zachary Levi. Is there anyone else I might think? Because I do look like a couple actors. What was it? Adam Scott from Parks and Rec? Maybe Adam Scott. So, I don't know. What kind of superpowers do you think are the most badass? Which ones would you want for yourself? Probably the abilities like to affect the fundamental forces, like gravity, light, space, those kind of things. Those are really cool abilities. If you could tame any wild exotic animal, something dangerous, what would it be? Probably a tiger. Like just to have it as, tame it and have it as a pet big snuggle monster. What TV show theme song gets stuck in your head the most? You know the ones that you hum all the time. Probably like DuckTales or something like that. Woohoo! If you could try, or let's Beyblade. I was talking about Beyblade. Let her rip. Boom. Picking it up at the speed of town, gonna break. It's the name of the game. Okay, it's the one who's gonna win. It's Beyblade. Like, come on, who doesn't love that? If you could train in any martial art, living or dead, or with any martial artist, living or dead, who would you pick? Oh, living or dead? Oh, that's easy. That's it's actually, man, not Bruce Lee, because he's the guy who trained Bruce Lee. I would train him. Yeah, granted, Bruce Lee developed his own way, but I would actually rather train with the guy who trained Bruce Lee. From Naruto and Bleach, which characters do you think would hit it off? Like a real surprising pair, Are we talking about just couple or friendship? Because if we're talking about, let's just say couple. I'll think of like 3 right off the top of my head. Yoruichi and Minato, power couple right there. Beyond that, let's look at some of the younger characters. Weirdly enough, even though Soifun gives off very much like not even closet, just very angry lesbian vibes, Soifun and Kakashi I think could work well together. Even his laziness and laid back, lackadaisical nature would probably balance her out a little bit, even though she'd probably get annoyed by it. But but when push comes to shove, she can prove herself. He proves himself to be the right partner, I think. Or just as a friendship at any rate. If we're looking at maybe some of the younger cast, I could see Naruto and Renji getting along pretty well. Sakura and probably Isane. Hinata and Momo. I could see that. Sasuke and Hitsugaya probably could get along pretty well too. So there's a couple one. All right then, number 7. Which of these criminal masterminds do you think could survive in the prison from Oz? I've never actually watched Oz, but I'll give you my best. I'll give you the best I can. Tony Montana, Lois Bloom from Nightcrawler, Cyrus the Virus Grissom, Jim Conway from Goodfellas, Michael Corleone from The Godfather, and Richmond Valentine from The Kingsman, Secret Service. Okay, Richmond is not even going to prison. He's too rich for that. Michael Corleone probably would probably be fine. Most mobsters are probably fine as long as they're like not, as long as they're not, say, like enemies of another family. Cyrus the Virus probably would just be another inmate. Honestly, the only one who's probably got the worst odds, honestly, is probably Louis Bloom, because just the level of sociopath he is. And Tony Montana, because he's gonna think he's the big swinging dick in the room and then gets shanked. So there you go. Which human characters, no slasher characters, okay, would you not want to run into in real life? Human characters? No horror or slasher. Any politician, frankly. I don't want to deal with any politician. Good or bad, I don't want to deal with politicians. Then, he didn't say serial killers are off the list, so any serial killer, really. Like the Red Dragon, I can't remember his actual name, but the Red Dragon, guy who played the Red Dragon. Him. Probably I would not want to run into him. Or Buffalo Bill. Yeah, him too. If there were a purge, what's your move? What are you gonna do? I'm staying inside. Like, I'm not going out. Luckily, I live in the woods with a lot of more families and older people, so I highly doubt people would be purging in my area. Maybe down in the city area, but otherwise, I'm staying home. I'm keeping whatever blade I have on me. I don't have guns, but I have blades, and I'm making sure the lights are off. And I'm just gonna wait out the night. I'm going to have some caffeine and make sure that everything's good and just taking the day off from work the next day. All right. Sound good? Let me know. You don't want to keep me waiting. All right. Well, I didn't keep you waiting. All right. Sir Hammock, what's your motto? I don't really have mottos. I have philosophies I try to live by, but I don't have mottos. That being said, having rewatched the regeneration scenes recently, the line Capaldi has right before he regenerates. Run fast, laugh hard, be kind. It's actually a really good motto to live by, so I like that. All right, John Coleman. The question I've been wanting to ask you is, how far do you think Bell Cardinal would go into the dungeon if he had the abilities as Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy in one go? I believe you may have to put this down as a what if, as I have sent this question to you after the last Q&A, but just want to get your thoughts. Yeah, it's going to have to be a what if. I don't have an answer because I don't even know who that character really is, so sorry about that. Clark Kent here, just want to take a moment to say how I enjoy your content you've been putting out. While I might not always see eye to eye with some of your opinions, that's okay. We don't have to. This makes part of it. That's what makes it interesting. And honestly, it's not a big deal. Like I said, no big deal. That's part of the fun of fandom. I really appreciate the work you're doing. Oh, and Merry Christmas. So I thank you. All right, 1 of 9. Here we go. Few questions that I've been curious about. What TV death shocked you the most? The one that completely caught you off guard. TV death. Kate on NCAS was actually a pretty surprising one, to be honest. TV deaths. Oh, another answer to a character that pissed me off enough that he get punched in the face. Kelso from 70 Show. Because I was trying to think of a character death from that. Kelso from 70 Show, I'd punch it in the face directly. Deaths caught me off guard. I don't really have a good answer for that, unfortunately. Sorry. Where did you stand on the Drake versus Kendrick debate? Nowhere. I don't care about those two. Didn't pay any attention to, as you just said. Which TV shows from 2024 stood out to you? TV shows? I wasn't really watching anything new. Sorry. Although I am watching Creature Commandos and really liking it. But holy shit, that 4th episode right now. Holy shit, that Weasel episode. Dear God, I started to get teary-eyed. Like, what the fuck? In terms of like TV show, okay, so that being said, loved Agatha. Actually really liked Agatha quite a bit. Acolyte sucked. What are you gonna do? I'm liking What If season 3 right now. And I'm liking Skeleton Crew a lot. So there's that. If you could pick any comic book crossover to see, what would it be personally? Personally, I think something like Batman becoming Ghost Rider would be pretty cool. That would actually be really cool. Batman with powers usually tends to get a little corrupted, though. A crossover comic pairing of some kind. The Viltrumite. Viltrumites coming into the DC world and trying to evade the Earth, only to see Superman there thinking of a Viltrumite and then him laying the actual smackdown on their asses. Not a big Superman fan, but if it's one of the times where him being written overpowered comes in as like a yes moment, that's a moment. That I like to see. Do you think J. Jonah Jameson would end up on Dot's payroll in The Boys, or would he be more of the one of the rare voices of journalistic integrity? He slanders Spider-Man, but he's got reason. He actually does have reasons he does it. Even though he slanders it because he thinks he is a menace. He does legitimately think that. It's not like he's biased and yes, he doesn't like Spider-Man, but there's more to it than just him, being a bigot or a dick or anything like that. So yes, actually, I think he would be a voice of journalistic integrity. 6. Are there any characters you would love to see featured in Death Battle? For me, I think Cartman would be a good one. Entertaining wild card, though I'm not sure who you put him up against. That would be entertaining. I've said it before on multiple occasions. Kenpachi Zaraki from Bleach. That one, I want to just see him all balls out in a fight. Now, I don't think we'll see it for a little while, but we got one more core of the 1,000 Year Blood Work, and like 80% of those episodes are going to be new content. So we might get a little bit more Zaraki going on there, but Kenpachi I've always wanted to see on Death Battle. Other than that, is there anyone else I really want to? Well, we know we're going to get Godzilla again versus the Hulk, so that will be interesting. Like a character that hasn't been on Death Battle I want to see. Ooh. John Constantine I want to see on Death Battle. That's another one. Okay. Gambit. Gambit's another one I would like to see. Okay, what animals fascinate you the most besides humans, of course? Snakes. I've always loved snakes. Serpents of any kind. I've always been a very big fan of. Reptiles in general, but snakes particularly. Hey, are you still planning to do character challenge? The character challenge you mentioned in the Q&A past, or did something change your mind? I'm not going to lie. I actually completely forgot about that. I don't even know what that challenge really was, that video really was, that type of video. Let me know in the comments to know what that was supposed to be, so I can maybe go back and do that at some point. If you can meet any internet celebrity in person, who would it be? Internet celebrity? Jeremy Jahns or John Campea. They're cool dudes. I enjoy their content. That'd probably be it. All right, then. The Master of Gaming. Master of Gaming. I just want to point out, you do predictions every week when I ask for predictions for the box office. So thank you for that. But man, I don't know where you are getting your predictions from sometimes. I think you said you thought Mufasa was going to make $300 million this week? Now, did you mean that maybe like as its overall worldwide total, or do you actually think it's going to make $300 million this week? I'm not calling you stupid or anything. No, I'm not sure where you're getting those like ideas. You thought like you also said it would make like $150 million. That I just don't know where you're getting the I don't know where your thought process is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where's your thought process when it comes to predictions? Anyway, I digress. Master Gaming though. Always appreciate the comments though. Do you think a Minecraft movie 2025 will make $1 billion worldwide? Minecraft because Minecraft is the highest selling paid game of all time at 300 million copies sold. No. Jack Black, first off, is starting to become a little bit of commodity that people aren't liking. I like Jack Black fine. I loved him as Bowser. Mario made $1.3 billion. You would think that should work in its favor, right? Mario's one of the biggest game franchise, if not the biggest game franchise ever. But so is Pokemon, and that only made about 400 some odd million. Out on the fact that trailers, quite frankly, had not been very good. So, no, I don't think it will. Could it have? Hypothetically, it could have, but no, I don't think so. Do you think an upcoming Angel Studio movie can make a similar amount to Sound of Freedom, also from Angel Studios at the box office? Well, if one Angel Studio movie did it, any Angel Studio movie in theory can do it. What did the Sound of Freedom make again? Let's find that out real quick. Because that made an unprecedented amount and had an unprecedented run. Sound of Freedom. Let's see here. What did that make again? Sound of Freedom, which is based off a true story, think about this for a second. This movie, I think, was only made like a couple tens of millions, something like that. Made 19 million opening weekend. Went on to make $250 million, almost 251. That's insane numbers. Which is probably why Angel Studios is able to make these very small films and lose money on them, because they had like a big hit with that, so they got a little bit of wiggle room there. And honestly, Angel Studios actually does make movies that do make money, because they actually make them on very low budgets, so that's doable to say the least. All right, which horror movie revival? But no, I mean, I don't know for certain. It's possible. It is possible. It has to be the right film. The fact that it was based on a real event, though, I think really helped it. So, yeah. Which horror movie revival will do better at the box office next year? Final Destination Bloodlines or I Know What You Did Last Summer? Final Destination. It's a bigger franchise. It's got, I think, just more fans. I Know What You Did Last Summer certainly has fans, but it was not like a. Let's I'm gonna hold on. Let's actually look this up. Final Destination. Final Destin. Since I got Box Office Mojo up here right now, I might as well. Destination. Okay, the Final Destination films. We have currently, no joke, yeah, 5 of these things. The first one made $112 million against $23 million budget. Second one made less money, $90 million, but still did well enough against a very relatively low budget. Destination 3 made $118 million, being currently the highest grossing of the 3 I've looked at so far. The Final Destination made $186, being the highest grossing of the franchise at the time. Final Destination 5 made $157, second highest grossing on a budget of $40 million. So it still did well enough. So these films got a built-in audience. They got a built-in audience. I know what you did last summer. Hold on. Know what you did last summer. Let's see what those. Oops. Okay. I know what you did last summer. I know what you. Oh, that's the remake. First off, there's only 2 movies in this franchise. One from 97 and then one from 98. The 97 one did make $125 million. Okay. The 98 one made $40 million. Hoofa. So no. If you're not no. So yeah, it's going to be Final Destination makes more money. Now maybe I'm wrong. It's possible. Definitely could be possible. The other one makes more money, but it's going to be Final Destination that makes more money. Do you think Mortal Kombat 2, coming out in October? I think it's October comes out. Will do better than the first one, both critically and financially. As long as it's got a better writer on it, yeah, it should. Granted, Mortal Kombat did not make a lot of money, but there is a very big reason for that. It was a victim of that stupid ass day and date release dates idea. Combat. That was one of the dumbest ideas any studio has ever had. It still went on to make $84 million in a pandemic recovery era, day and date release. So, and I think basically what happened was, what WB looked at that, realized, oh, we probably would have made like at least double that minimum if we had just released it without the fucking day and date release. So, okay, let's give it another go. So, 84 million? Yeah, it can make more than 84 million. I think it'll do better than the first one financially, at least. All right, which MCU film do you think will do better financially? Thunderbolts or Captain America: Brave New World? I'm actually more looking forward to the Thunderbolts, honestly, but I think it will be Cap. I do think it will be Cap. Do you think James Gunn's Superman, or it will be DC's comeback at the box office after a string of flops? God willing, it will be. That trailer, and I say this, and I mentioned this when I talked about the in my Craven review. Sonic review, sorry. That trailer is now the 5th highest viewed trailer of all time. That trailer was like a punch we didn't see coming. Like, holy crap, this looks good. All right. Do you believe in time travel? Is it possible in the future? Like, if you're meaning back in time, theoretically, anything's possible. Probably not, though. I don't think we're ever going to reach technology that advanced. Eren Yeager versus Optimus Prime, death battle fight. Will this death battle fight ever happen in season 25? Yes or no? No. It's not going to happen because they've already got their lineups, quite frankly. With that Kickstarter they did, they have all the videos they need right now. So I doubt 2025. I also doubt it would happen, period. You need to have a theme with the death battle. That's one thing. They need to be characters that have some reason or relation to each other to be fighting. Okay, we're getting there. We're almost done. Darth Vader, Merry Christmas and a happy life day. If you're a true Star Wars fan, then you understand the significance of that reference. Now listen carefully, for I have questions to ponder. May the Force serve you well in your answer. Why, thank you. If you could choose a fictional master to learn from, Who would you deem worthy of such a role? It would depend. What am I learning from the master? Am I learning martial arts? Am I learning the force? Am I learning how to control ki? What am I learning? That being said, if we're just going, since you're Vader, we'll look at Star Wars real quick. Fictional master, I mean, well, Luke kind of failed Ben. I don't think he was a bad teacher at all. And he's still probably arguably the most powerful Jedi there was. So I might go Luke. Swordsmanship, like for a master. Kenshin's teacher from Rurouni Kenshin wouldn't be a bad one. All right. Do you believe truly fulfills the prophecy of the chosen one? Anakin, Luke, or Rey? It's not Rey. No, it's not Rey. It's Anakin, I think. Now, why? Because he did bring balance to the Force. The Jedi were too spread out. The light overwhelmed the dark, and so the dark was significantly more powerful. Then the Jedi disappeared. Then Luke came about, so he birthed the next part of the light to help balance the dark. Well, he helped conceive. The next part, that would be the light. And then his son is the one who brings him back to the light to extinguish the darkness once again. Now, you may say, well, then Rey came and, did that too. No, Rey really didn't, because it's also because she didn't do that alone. She did it with Ben, who is a descendant of Anakin. So, and it all comes back to Anakin in the end. So, yeah. Do you think the Mad Titan Thanos would wield the Super Dragon Balls with greater purpose than Zamasu ever dreamed? Probably. Zamasu just wished to become immortal. Thanos would actually use it to get whatever his desire is. So, yeah, absolutely. Thanos is frankly just more intelligent than Zamasu. When Hollywood resurrects old stories and recycles ideas, do you find it entertaining, or are you wary of the narrative cloaked in a new guise? Not really. Look, these like the hero's journey stories, the story that's always going to be told. It's just, can you tell a good story? That's it. So, not really. Has Disney extinguished the solo Star Wars saga with their decisions? Extinguished? No. Have they put a water on the fire? A little bit. I won't lie there, a little bit. But with Skeleton Crew being good so far, it's not out of the woods yet. It's not gone. It's just, it is in a damaged period. It does need to recover. Could Frieza in his prime conquer the Viltrumite Empire? Or would his ambition falter? Probably. His prime? Which would be Black Frieza? Yeah, Black Frieza is a freaking universe buster. No Viltrumite is anywhere near that powerful. So yeah. In a battle of empires, the Viltrumites versus the Galactic Empire, who would emerge victorious? Remember, the power of the dark side should not be underestimated. Thing is, we know the Viltrumites are so powerful that even like weapons that could blow up suns are don't really hold a lot of, can't kill them. Injure maybe, but not kill. So most of the weapons of the Empire probably aren't that big of an issue. Even the Death Star isn't really that big of a problem for a Viltrumite. It all come down to the Force users and like Palpatine, Vader, telekinesis, lightsabers, all that. Unfortunately, that's just overwhelmed by numbers. If we're going by lore or like Legends Palpatine, though, he can use Force Storm, which is a giant fuck off wormhole. So I think the Viltrumites might squeeze out the win there. If you could possess a replica of any fictional weapon, what would you choose as your prize for this Christmas? Any fictional weapon? Any at all? Oh. I mean, it's tough not to say lightsabers, but you can actually buy it. I have a lightsaber right over there, and a relatively nice one. But if we're talking about like the replica, like from the movie itself, think about that real quick. I mean, I've always liked the design of, say, like the elven swords in Lord of the Rings. I mean, again, a lightsaber would be really awesome, though. I'm sure I could think of some. I mean, maybe He-Man's power sword is kind of fun. It's tough. That's a tough question. Now, if you're talking about any replica, prop, or anything, that's a very different thing in general. But weapons? Whew. I mean, the F-off gun that Ripley had in Aliens 2, or Aliens. So, I don't know. It's a good one, though. Have you considered pledging loyalty to the Galactic Empire? Our benefits are unmatched. Sorry, you're evil, so no. Space Nazis? No, thank you. But thanks for the ask. Who do you deem the greatest mastermind? Lex Luthor, Norman Osborn, Joker, Riddler, Judge Holden? Who's Judge Holden? I'm gonna have to check on that one. Shockwave, and I would probably put Starscream over Shockwave there. Emperor Palpatine, Mysterio, Suskin Eisen, or David Xanatos, which I'm guessing is from Xanatos. That's the Xanatos from Gargoyles, correct? Let me see here. So just a Judge Holden. From what is this? Coming as a judge from I don't books blood merit. I don't know who this is, so I couldn't answer that one. And I'm guessing David Xanatos. That's Gargoyles, right? 1 second, because I mean Xanatos I know is Gargoyles, but I don't know if that's his first name. Yes, from Gargoyles. Okay, so obviously I gotta take Judge right out of the equation there. Shockwave I'm taking out there too. Riddler as a mastermind, the greatest mastermind. Batman usually can outsmart him, but he is occasionally smarter than Batman. Joker's really not that. Joker, I think, is a little overrated as a mastermind. Yeah, he has plans, and sometimes he has contingencies, but they're not that impressive. Lex is a very good mastermind. Norman's not bad. Palpatine, though. So, okay, if we're doing, like, say, our top 3 here, I think it's got to be Lex Luthor, Palpatine, and Eisen. Palpatine was able to orchestrate the entire downfall of the Jedi and the Republic and all that. Lex Luthor constantly has to match wits with Superman. Generally, he loses, though, so that is a knock against him. Eisen did ultimately lose, but only because he got too cocky. If he hadn't gotten too cocky, he would have won, honestly. That's literally what happened here. He got injured. Got injured to the point where the Hogyaku did no longer responded to him. And he ultimately got a little too cocky with his powers and got sealed away by Kisuke. And so otherwise, if we're thinking about like how long someone's been planning and how well that plan was successfully executed, it's got to be, I think, more Sasuke versus Palpatine. Palpatine legit succeeded. Like, he legit succeeded. But Eisen was hundreds of years planning and had contingencies built on contingencies built on contingencies. And again, it all simply came down to the, main character plot armor. And Ichigo still didn't actually beat him. It all just came down to the fact that someone was smarter than him in the end. That's all it came down to. And that Kisuke had more contingency than even Eisen did. That's what it came down to. Had that not happened, and had Kisuke not done that, and he'd been, like, say, killed by Eisen, Ichigo would have also been killed, and he would have made it to the Soul King Palace. I'm going to go with Eisen just barely. Finally, who stands as the ultimate criminal genius? Professor Moriarty, Hannibal Lecter, nah. Tom Ripley, is that the talented, no, Tom Ripley. Is that from Catch Me If You Can? Is that what it is? Because that name does strike a bell. Let me see here. Tom Ripley. No. Tom Ripley is it the Amazing Mr. Ripley? Ripley series of American novels. Okay, I'm not familiar with this. Fatimus. What is Fatimus now? It's got to be pretty clear. I only seem to know a couple of these characters. Let's see here. Fatimus. Do I actually know this character? No, I do not. Okie dokie. So, let's see here. Anton Chigurh, Fu Manchu, Toby, or Gendo Ikari. Who's Gendo Ikari? This is anime, I'm guessing. Let's see here. Criminal mastermind. Gendo Ikari from Oh, Evangelion. That's what it is. I didn't watch Evangelion, so sorry, I can't answer that. Fu Manchu, no idea. Anton Chigurh, not really a criminal mastermind. It's got to be Professor Moriarty. That's an actual criminal genius, not the ultimate criminal genius. I mean, not criminal mastermind, criminal genius. Lecter's smart, but he's a psychiatrist. He's a doctor. He's not really a genius in the sense of a criminal genius. He's just a genius who's who's insane and a cannibal. Anton Chigurh's not a genius, not really. He's intelligent, but not a genius. It's Professor Moriarty for me. You may answer if you dare, but choose your responses wisely. The force is watching. Okay. All right. And Chris Dash, this is where all the questions prefer. What's your opinion on the SCP Foundation and your favorite SCP creatures? I like the SCP Foundation. My favorite creatures are like the big giant, like monsters, or like the Leviathan that apparently exists like in the ocean. That's so big that I think it's acting as islands, or Jormungandr, who was technically a giant serpent in the ice that's kind of sleeping. What's your opinions on the future plans of the DC and MCU? Right now, DCU, we gotta see what happens with Superman. I am getting hopeful though for the DCU. Marvel, I've never really lost faith in Marvel. I've never been someone who jumped on the Marvel hate train saying Marvel's dead. Marvel's not dead. Grow up. Was Marvel in a slump? Yes, Marvel was in a slump. Now this is because Chapek is an asshole and mandated quality or quantity over quality. Now, Feige has all his power back. They've gone back to the drawing board. They basically just said, okay, Daredevil wasn't what we wanted. Let's redo it. Deadpool Wolverine, one of the best comic book movies in a while for Marvel. I thought was really freaking good. So they are doing well. They are doing well now. And so I am looking forward to both Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts. I'm really looking forward to. I want to see the Sentry. Captain America, Daredevil. I'm looking forward to all these. I'm super happy Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Doom. So we are really going to be seeing what's going on here. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So my hope is high. My hope is high, and I have hope. What's your favorite Who is your favorite Suicide Squad and the Thunderbolts members? Well, Thunderbolts members I don't know like comic iterations of it. I'll just say who I like from the movie. Bucky probably. And let's see here. Suicide Squad. Lobo's been a part of the Suicide Squad, so I'd say Lobo. If you were a voice actor, what character would you want to play? And if someone hired you, would you ever take the role? Whatever role fits my voice. That's it. I can do a lot of voices, but me just saying, okay, we're going to recast this character. Who do you want to play? If that's what you're asking, I can do Piccolo pretty well. Doing Piccolos would be pretty good. But at the same time, it's all the. I mean, I could also replace the current voice actor for SpongeBob. That would be great. Ah! I could do that. I could be Elmo. I could be the new Elmo and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm Elmo. Watch me, or fuck off." Just make Elmo not for kids anymore. But yeah, I can do a lot of voices. But hey, someone wants to give me a job, pay me some extra money to voice act, I'm down. Would you ever consider making story time videos? I have no idea what that is, so I can't answer that. Would you rather learn from all forms of Would you rather learn all forms of martial arts or all languages on Earth? All languages on Earth. That actually be a lot. That's a lot more practical. Martial arts would be great, but I can already defend myself pretty well. So, yeah, I would rather learn all languages on Earth, because that way, no matter where I go, I can always understand people. Hopefully. Would you rather have SCP-862's power of Doomsday powers, or Doomsday powers? 862. I think you meant 682, or 686. Hold on, SCP. I actually do keep the SCP Foundation in my tabs here. So let me just see here now. Let's see. What is 862? So because 682 is the hard to destroy reptile. I think that's the one you mean, because 862 is rats. So I think you meant I think you got your numbers confused. Probably Doomsday's powers, because he literally adapts to whatever theoretically kills him, so he'll always come back. I mean, yes, SCP does that too, but SCP can actually be damaged, and there may be ways to actually kill him. Would you rather be a Kryptonian without Kryptonian weaknesses, or a Saiyan with Gohan and Broly's potential? Kryptonian. Look, I love Dragon Ball, but Kryptonian without the Kryptonian weaknesses, feeding off the yellow sun, surviving space, all that. Oh yeah, it's Kryptonian. All day, every day. From what form would you like better? Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego? Instinct. Don't want to take hits. And I think the hair's cooler. And I don't have to lose my eyebrows when I transform. If you were a Saiyan and you had to train to unlock Ultra Form, what form would you want to unlock? Ultra Instinct or Ultra Instinct? We just went over this. Would you rather have the Force or Chakra? Force. You technically, because Chakra, you can actually drain yourself pretty hard and actually die from the chakra exhaustion. There's no real such thing as force exhaustion. You can just cut yourself off from it. But you can kind of do just about anything you can in the force that you could with chakra. All right, then Diego Lorente. Which Cartoon Network / Disney Channel character, Nickelodeon character, would survive zombie apocalypse or zombie movie? And a zombie movie. Could be The Walking Dead, Left 4 Dead, Resident Evil, or Dead War. Let's see here. Disney and Nickelodeon. Ninja Turtles would probably Disney, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network. Avatar would probably be fine. Aang would probably be fine. Zuko can just roast them. Samurai Jack would be all good. Ben 10 would be fine. Ninja Turtles would be fine. Anyone with magic would be just fine. It would just magic the zombies away. So that's my answer to that. Could be a great Attack on Titan form, and could it be a great attack in Titan form in Attack on Titan? Could be in a Cartoon Network character. Okay, what? The only rule is it could be only one Cartoon Network character from one show. Could it be a great attack? Are you saying who could be a great Titan if turned into a Titan from a Cartoon Network? Is that what you're saying? Gotta work on your grammar, man. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but gotta work on the grammar. I don't know. Johnny Bravo would be fun as an Attack on Titan. Courage would be fun. A Scary Titan would be kind of fun. What's your favorite pizza restaurant? For me, at least it has to be Pizza Hut. Well, I mean, my favorite pizza restaurants aren't like the mainstream. Like, we have some place called Antonio's around here, and that's pretty good. Antonio's is really good. I have not been to a lot of like other pizza joints locally. I really should try. Like, we have one place called Pinocchio. Should try that at some point. What's your favorite horror movie? For me, at least the first Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic right next to Halloween. It's John Carpenter's The Thing. That's probably my favorite horror movie. This is the last one which Cartoon Network characters could survive the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes, the cartoon characters are codenamed Kids Next. Yes, the Cartoon Network characters are codenamed Kids Next Door, Courage, Johnny Bravo, Dexter, Billy and Mandy, and the Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls would survive. They could just destroy the animatronics. Billy and Mandy aren't going to be scared. If anything, they might befriend these things. Dexter can literally just hack these suits. He is a genius. Johnny Bravo might die. He might die. Courage, though, is also surprisingly tech savvy, and he can survive pretty much anything. The codenames Kids Next Door might also not make it. All right. 6. Which canceled movies would you have loved to have seen get made? Canceled movies. I'd have to know what movies have been canceled. Like, I don't know. I mean, there are some I know, like Death of Superman Lives What Happened, but I don't really care about seeing Nicolas Cage's Superman, not with that hair. So no, not that. Yeah, I don't really have a good answer. The final question, quick thoughts on which cartoon villain would be a great partner for Indiana Jones or James Bond to defeat. Not Fearless Leader. What's his name? The brain in The Bear from Billy and Mandy, where it's because they're the other side of the Billy and Mandy show. I can't remember exactly what it is. Yeah, that would probably be a good villain for them to defeat. All right, we're getting to the final ones now. Random underscore information asks, what are your thoughts on Jurassic World Dominion? It's fine. Not my favorite of the three Jurassic World movies. Certainly not the favorite of the Jurassic Park movies. It played like a novel brought to life, and that sounds good, but it's not. Yeah, it played more like like the locust angle would have worked a lot better in an actual movie or in an actual book than a movie. Other than that, thank you. Shang Sun, greeting mortal. My most festive Merry Christmas to you and Happy Early New Year's. I sense you may be planning a Q&A to mark the turning of the calendar. Well, I'm doing Q&A because that's what came up. Though you may proceed this, whether you proceed is of course your choice. Nonetheless, I have inquiries to present before you. Prepare yourself, for I shall now unleash them upon you. Which fruits tempt you so greatly that even when you're with falters, even your will falters before them? What fruits tempt you? No fruits tempt me. Sorry, I like fruit, but nothing tempts me that much. Unless you're using fruit as like, the fruits of your labor kind of thing. Like what tempts you? Like I don't know. Nothing really. There's very little that actually my will falters on. If I'm like, oh, I must submit. What television show have you endeavored to embrace but perpetually delay, held back by some unseen forces? Oh, that's a good one. Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. Those would be on the list. Mostly just because of timing and how much I'm already watching. I like to at least finish something before I start something else. Which franchise is in your most esteemed judgment is crowned as the most overrated franchise? Franchise Transformers is not overrated. A lot of people actually agree they suck. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Lord of the Rings are a little overrated. Not that they're bad. I like them, but I just think they are a little overrated. And Avatar. Avatar, I think, is really overrated. Reveal to me the series you deem most tragically undervalued by the masses. Undervalued series, huh? I mean, that's a tough one because I think most series got their dues when I was watching them. So I don't know if I have a good answer for that one, unfortunately. What B movies hold sway over your guilty pleasures despite their lesser stature? I'll always say this, and I will say it to the day I die, the live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie. I don't know what it is about that movie, but I like that movie. It's terrible, but it's fun. A personal question, should you dare to answer, have you considered the path to parenthood? You strike me as one who might excel in such a role. Fear not, there's no offense intended here. Well, none taken. Have I ever considered becoming a parent? The idea of whether or not I would be a good father, whether or not I would have kids, has crossed my mind more than once. Even if I wanted kids, which I don't right now, it's also about my girlfriend. She wants kids, and she does not want kids. But it's also about, am I at a place right now where I could have kids? Could I afford to have kids, love them effectively, love them the way they need to be loved, nurture them, all that? I don't think I am right now. But have I ever considered it? Sure. Have you indulged in the classics of cinema, those aged black and white old bucks? If not, why does such an experience elude you? No, I'm indulged. I like black and white movies. Fine. Nowadays they're not black and white anymore. Which incarnations of Batman, the Dark Knight Batman, claim your loyalty as the finest? Probably, my favorite overall Batman and Bruce Wayne combo is Michael Keaton. My favorite Batman is probably Kevin Conroy for saying the voice. And then I'd say he's actually my favorite overall, just because in general, because that's just who's in my head when I think Batman. My favorite straight out Batman right now, like straight out the way they interpreted Batman, is Ben Affleck in Batman and Superman. That I think is actually one of the more realistic portrayals of Batman, minus the killing part, that we've had in a long time. I do like the Robert Pattinson's Batman fine. Christian Bale's good. I think Val Kilmer's fine as Bruce Wayne, and same with George Clooney. They're just not good Batman. So yeah, but I would say Kevin Conroy is probably my favorite Batman. Do you favor the sorcery of CGI in modern films, the artistry of practical effects, or do such things concern you not? I think I really appreciate when practical is used, but CGI has gotten to a point where practical doesn't always need to be used, and quite frankly, it's cheaper and more effective to use it, and I can understand it and be happy with that. But whenever a really good practical effect is used, I notice it and I value it extremely well. Finally, are you a warrior of consoles, or do you consider yourself the PC master race? No, I'm more of a console guy. I prefer consoles. My sister just brought over our old PS2 so I can play one of my favorite games, Dark Cloud, again when I get the time. Choose your answers wisely, for they shall reflect the essence of your soul. I await your response with great interest. Okay, we are now in the finals. Final, I want to say 3 or 4 people. Unfortunately, the 2 of them both gave me long ass question lists. All right, listen up. I hope you're doing a phenomenal well this holiday. What's up? Especially with the whole acid reflux stitch. You gotta get that checked out. I've gotten it checked out before. It is just acid reflux. Okay. As you get older, these things just happen. But let's not waste any time. We got questions to get through. Oh, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, or whatever. No worries. Happy New Year's, whatever to you too. What's one of the most shameful, most forehead slapping regrets you can think of? I'm talking about the ones you used to you'd use a time machine for a stat. I once saluted a cop and being like, and he just goes, "You think that's funny?" It's like, yeah, get that out of the way right now. Again, I mentioned the first girl I ever kissed and kind of was, getting frisky with, and I'm like, oh, that could have gone farther if I just read the fucking moment and been like, no. She was hot too, so I'm like, ah. So there's one of me. If I go back in the time machine and go, you go back into that room, mister, and you do whatever is about to happen. So yeah, those would be a couple that I'm like, ay. And if I were to say things I regret, this is a weird one, and this gets a little personal, not on my side of the fence, but on Mark's side, so I won't go too much into it. His previous relationship, in hindsight, now knowing what I know, I probably would have actually encouraged him and her to break up quicker, so the relationship could have been salvaged as a friendship more than as what ultimately happened. They're no longer on speaking terms with each other. They haven't been for many years, and they lived their lives. Mark's in a new relationship. He's happy. He's good. Wonderful. He has someone who he loves and loves him. Great. But it's more that I would have broken that up to save the overall friend group as a whole when an incident happened. I'm not gonna say what happened. That's personal. Then you don't need to know that. But I would have saved. I think I would have saved everyone a lot of trouble. Not saying I would have stopped him from dating the person. I wouldn't have done that. You might be saying, now you might be saying, well, in hindsight, well, if you don't stop the relationship happening, isn't that just you making things worse? No, because I still think it was important for him to have that relationship. And yeah, I still think it was important for him to have that relationship. I don't think it's all about learning experiences, right? So I think when the thing happened, I think that would have been the point where I was like, no, I think you guys are done. I think you guys need to part ways amicably and just go on with your lives, because this isn't going to work. So that's what I would have done. And I probably would have prevented some people from like getting into fights or whatever. And again, this is all hindsight stuff, mind you. Which Team 4-star quote leaves rent free in your head all day, every day? Well, pecking order. That's one of them. All these squares make a circle. That's in there. I am the hype. That's another one. Let's see here. Anything else that lives rent free in my head? Oh, you're stupid. That's stupid. Stop being stupid. Or am I being rhetorical? No, you're not. It's like you hear words, just apply them into everyday sentences. Sound smart. Well, now you're being transcendent. All right. If Hollywood decided to make a movie about your life, Lord help us, what genre are we talking? Drama, action, rom-com? Give me the tea. Probably like some sort of weird romantic comedy. Like probably some weird romantic comedy with drama, definitely. There's not really any action. For if you had to pick a power source, which one was it going to be? Ki, Chakra, Ryatsu, Reishi. they're the same thing. Cursed Energy or Nen. And you best not say all of them. Well, no, obviously not all of them. Probably, because you can run out of any one of these. It's probably going to be Chakra, just because I know Chakra can be molded with the right techniques and, training. Nen is just too diverse and too weird. Curse Energy is just Ryatsu. Ryatsu and Reishi are the same thing. And Ki, while great, technically we all have Ki, Chi, whatever you want to say. What anime arcs hit harder than a Sunday sermon and get your blood pumping every time? The Dark Tournament in Yu Yu Hakusho is always one of the best. It's one of the best arcs in anime. Period. End of story. And then the 1,000-Year Blood War arc in Bleach is frankly it's fantastic. It got rushed, but it's fantastic. And thank God the anime is really taking its time to flesh it back out. Now, hear me out. If one of these fictional politicians ran for U.S. president, who's got your vote? And God, how far are we now? We're at 2.5 minutes. God, this one went on long. Problem is, the more viewers I get, the longer these are going to go. Lex Luthor? No. Senator Armstrong? Maybe. Frank Underwood? Don't know that one. Major Quimbley? Don't know. Tom Beck? Jefferson Smith? And I don't know any of these, unfortunately. Okay, hold on. I'm going to at least try to look up a couple of these so I don't just say Senator Armstrong, because it's not Lex Luthor. Even though Luthor ultimately did do a good job, it was, in fact, for an ulterior motive. So let's see. Frank Underwood. Oh, that's House of Cards with Kevin Spacey. Mayor Quimbley one does sound familiar. What was that one? Mayor Quimbley. Mayor Quimbley. Oh, God, no, that's Simpsons, not him. Tom Beck. Yeah, guys, when you do say these characters, do Tom Beck. I don't have I don't know who Tom Beck is. You gotta put the show they're from here, because I don't know every one of these characters. Sorry. And I'm not always gonna have enough time to proofread every one of these questions, as you've seen. And I don't know who Joseph Barnett is, and I don't know who Jefferson Smith. Yeah, I'm gonna go Senator Armstrong, because he's actually proven to be a pretty good politician. If you could go down to history for starting some world-ending nonsense, which apocalypse are you signing up for? Zombie apocalypse, machine uprising, pandemic apocalypse, astronomical catastrophe, alien invasion, or a straight-up depressing Children of Men scenario. Pick your poison. If I'm starting the world, so if I'm the one who causes the apocalypse, you're saying, I would go probably with the zombie apocalypse, because you didn't specify what type of zombie. So this could just be slow-moving zombies that we can all take care of no problem and still generally have a society with. So yeah, that'd probably be the one, but none of those are good. None of those are good choices. Which superhero got too much plot armor for no dang reason? Spill it. Superman. Superman, you may say Batman. Well, maybe, but Superman has gotten too much plot armor for just how now he's been written. That is plot armor. So yes, Superman. And then I'd say even I gotta say Batman down the road after that. He's gotten too much plot armor. Still, I love Batman. What's your favorite holiday? Don't say tax season. Why would I say that? Despite everything about it, Christmas is still my favorite holiday. It is. At least I try to make it. Be honest, can Brainiac take over Universe 7 in Dragon Ball? I mean, does he even stand a chance? He can take over. If he can be a match for Superman, he should be a match for the Z Fighters. However, the Z Fighters are not going to play around with Brainiac really at all. Hell, Beerus, frankly, would probably Hakai his ass. So, no. That's actually... If Beerus gets involved, no. Brainiac is not taking him on. Could the main man, the best Bastich in the galaxy, clap Goku? Lobo, clap Goku, don't lie to me. Could he? If Goku's not taking him seriously, yes. If Goku takes the fight seriously enough, Lobo is getting his ass kicked. Because as strong as Lobo is, and he can go toe-to-toe with Superman on occasions, he is not Superman's level of strength, ultimately. And Goku, again, when he's not playing around, is a multiverse buster. So there you go. What comic book storyline is so fire that you'll never get tired of revisiting it? Comic book storyline. Ooh. I don't actually read. The thing is, I don't read a lot of comic books anymore, so I couldn't really give you a firm answer on that. But some of my favorite storylines would be Enemy of the State Wolverine. That's a good one. Some of the Fantastic Four runs, the Guardians of the Galaxy runs, Civil War, the original one's damn good. So yeah, those would be some. If you woke up and and if we're talking about Batman, the Azrael Bane storyline, Nightfall, that's good. That's a good one. If you woke up in the Pokemon universe, what's your game plan? Are you a trainer or breeder, or you just want to try to get free food from Team Rocket? I'm not being Team Rocket. Hell no, I'm not being any evil team. If I could be a trainer, I would. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of effort, but if I could be a trainer, I would be a trainer. Lastly, which Team 4-Star Bridge series is your favorite? The ones you look back on like, that's right, Chef's Kiss. Oh, Team 4-Star Bridge? Oh, there's no question. That's Hellsing Ultimate. As good, and I mean as good as Dragon Ball Z Bridge is, that's fantastic. Ultimate Hellsing Abridged is true Chef. That is peak right there. All right then. Diego Lorente, are you born in 87? Close. I was born in 89. I'm 35. All right, we're in our last ones. How to Google asks, are you a Democrat or Republican? Your thoughts on Dragon Ball Dama or Sparking Zero? I have no thoughts on either of them. I don't really intend to watch them that much early. I am neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I would probably identify as an independent. I don't dig on either of them. And finally, the last person of this entire Q&A, which is now nearly 3 hours long, is Joker. Asks, well, it's so nice to finally meet you at long last. And guess what? You're officially famous because the clown prince of crime, yours truly, the Joker, has decided to grace you with his magnificent presence. Cue the trumpets, roll out the green carpet, and hit the laughter track. And obviously, you do the jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg, the Batmobile lost a wheel, the Joker got away. Crashing through rooftops on a one-horse open sleigh, busting out chaos as I go, laughing all the way on this holiday spirit is electrifyingly fine, isn't it? Now then, to get serious. No, wait, scratch that. That's just delightfully deranged and some questions. So I'm not going to do that voice the entire time. All right, 1 of 11. Let's talk about me. What's your favorite version of the Joker? The dark and twisted mastermind, a full-loving, zany clown. Choose wisely, my dear. So my favorite version of Joker, I've animated, it's Mark Hamill. I don't think any of us is really going to question that. Although I do like the version from the Batman, the weird Rastafarian looking one. My Bang, you really know how to shake, like that guy. Oh, Batman, don't you understand? This is all part of the game. Well, if that's the way you're going to be, then I do like that Joker, but also the very just kind of not mild, the more sinister one we got in Under the Red Hood. Boy wonder. But no, it'd be Mark Hamill, then the Batman, and then that version of the Joker. Live action, they're all because we got Jack Cesar Romero, Heath Ledger, obviously. Jared Leto, and Joaquin Phoenix's. I'm actually going to put Cesar Romero's just a little too camp for me. I do want someone who's got a little bit more of a sinister edge. But I would actually put Joaquin below even Jared, because that last movie fucked over the entirety of that guy's story. He's not the Joker. He just inspired the Joker. Well, that's bullshit. No. And he's not even really playing. He's playing the most realistic version of the Joker you can, at least in the first movie. And it's a good performance. It's just not one that I think of when I think the Joker. That said, however, it all depends on what you're leaning towards. I think Jared Leto's not as bad as people think, or as people give him shit for. I don't love him, but I don't think he's as bad. Like that whole, oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad. Like, that's a Joker line right there. I would probably say, though, it is Heath Ledger. It is Jack. I love Jack. I do, but it's Heath Ledger for me. Okay. Do you think my laughing gas could finally crack that stone-faced Sosuke Aizen and get him into to actually laugh? Or the thought alone tickles me pink. Let's put it this way: it can affect Wonder Woman and Superman, his Joker Dachshund. Now, the Shinigami are spirit beings. They are living beings. They're spirits, but they're living beings at the same time. They can reproduce. They bleed. They can die. So, I don't know. It's tough to say whether or not the gas would affect him or not. Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't give you a good answer. If I were to guess, I would probably say no, because he's just a different type of individual being. What that brooding genius L be able to unmask Dexter as a serial killer, or would they dance in a delightful cat and mouse game till the bitter end? If he could figure out that L was Kira, that Light was Kira, which I believe he did figure out, but then like he lost the memory of it or something like that. If he could figure that out, yeah, he could probably figure out that Dexter Morgan. Like for example, he'd probably figure out that Dexter worked in a police in forensics, like he had inside knowledge. So yeah, he'd probably be able to figure it out. Could Sean Spencer from Psych solve the Red John case, the Mentalist, before Patrick Jane does, where he just fake it till he makes it? Unfortunately, I have never seen either show. I've seen bits of the shows. I don't know the shows well enough to answer the question. Bruce Wayne or L? Oh, now this is juicy. If Batty Boy traded the cowl for a detective hat, would he make a good successor to L? And here's the kicker. Would he still moonlight as Batman, or would he go all out on his next shadowy sleuth? Batman is in his world, the world's greatest detective. He's essentially the L, except physically fit and beating people up with his fists, not just his mind. So, and he does a lot of detective work. So yes, he could totally be the next L. And he'd still moonlight. He would still be Batman. Yeah, he's already doing it. What's the funniest Christmas comedy you've ever watched? Don't tell me Home Alone. The kid would just be my protege if I had it my way. No, it's not Home Alone. Funniest Christmas comedy? I mean, I love Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon, so I'd probably say that. Let's see. The Ultimate Killer Clown of me, of course, but humor. Pennywise, the killer clowns from outer space. Art the Clown or Sweet Tooth. It's probably either Pennywise or Art the Clown. Because both also act very clownish. The killer clowns definitely are a threat, but they can be easily handled. Art kind of resurrects himself constantly, even if he's killed. And Pennywise is a demonic alien eldritch being. I would probably say between the two of them, the most effective killer clown is probably Art. Because he's more than human, but he's more human than Pennywise, and that's a little actually more unsettling. Plus, he's a mute, which makes him a lot creepier. 8. Would I be too much for Sosuke Aizen? Could I break his sincere composure and shatter sanity? No, you could not. He would probably just find you annoying, put you in a keto, kill you, or just ignore you. Let's be frank. Which anime crossovers do you dream about? And don't slap them onto my face, though I wouldn't mind. The Joker and Demon Slayer, anyone? Character crossing over into an anime? Oh, I don't know. Of course, you say anime cross, it could just be two animes crossing over. I've always liked the idea of Naruto and Bleach. They were part of the big three, so that would work. Honestly, Naruto and Pokemon works too. I mean, X-Men and My Hero, that's a good work. The crossover idea. Those might be some. Would Lex Luthor and his shiny LexCorp stand a chance against Vought, Interesting, and the boys? Oh, hell yes. He has a suit that can go toe-to-toe with Superman for a while. And Homelander is no Superman. So, yeah, no, his tech would definitely be able to handle Vought quite well. And last but not least, the final question of the Q&A. What's the weirdest drink combo you've ever made that turned out surprisingly delicious? Asking for research purposes. And, well, there you have it, a festival mix of chaos, curiosity, and dash of criminal genius. Now, go on, don't keep the Clown Prince waiting. with the weirdest drink combo I've ever made. I don't tend to mix things too much that are like just weird and pray it works. I would say though that if you want to try to go for something kind of akin to like a cherry cordial type drink, try something that's a mix of Kahlua, a chocolate liqueur of some kind, and instead of like just doing cherry in the drink, you can make a cherry like foam using heavy cream. You can just whip up heavy cream real quick into a cream, like a whipped cream. Mix that with a little bit of cherry and just kind of dollop it on top just a little bit. You can kind of do that. Or I'd maybe use light cream instead and go that route. You could try something like that. I don't know if that's the weirdest thing I've ever made, but it's certainly a weird thing. And that, everyone, is the last question in the Q&A. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and see you later.